afternoon, football fans, and welcome to day number 7 of 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. 6 days completed, 7 on the rise. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been a part of this, man. This has been awesome. This has been absolutely awesome. And I'm really glad that we've had such a great turnout this year. With that said, let's get on in to a division that is very near and dear to my heart, as I am a diehard Raiders fan. We're talking AFC West today. The Chargers have their man. I am convinced we'll see. But can this guy make it to where they make a deep playoff run this year, or is that to be seen coming up in future years? At least we know Taron Rodriguez in the chat room would certainly like to think of it this year. With that said, the Chiefs, are they still the top dog? I mean, I wouldn't argue with you if they are, but are they getting some competition? Are the Raiders, Chiefs, and the Raiders, Chargers, and Broncos headlights in their rear view and getting closer? Or are they just so far away they can't even see it? We'll see. We'll talk about that today. The Broncos. This team is something else. They have a defense, then they don't. Then they have a quarterback, then they don't. Then they have a franchise quarterback, then they don't. Then they have an offense that's actually pretty legit, then they don't. Then they have some good offensive linemen, not all. I mean, it's incredible how much they bounce around. But, are they relevant this year? And the Raiders. Oh, and then there were the Raiders. My team. The team that the uncertainty is so real. But at the end of the day, are we getting better? Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking to Taron Rodriguez about those Chargers. Can they be relevant this year? Is Herbert the guy? Bobby Jasinski about the Chiefs. Are they still that dominant monster team that can maybe go 3 years in a row to the Super Bowl? And we're talking to Gary Funk about those Broncos. What's going on in Denver? Can they make a run for it this year? And I will be covering those Raiders, telling you maybe some not so negative things about them coming up in the conclusion of the show. You're listening to 3 and Out, 8 Division 8 days, AFC Week, day number 7, AFC West Day, right here on IE Sports Radio, your director for all that sports. Welcome, football fans. Well, here we are. Day number 7. My goodness. I mean, yeah. Does it feel like day number 7? It does feel like day number 7 because, well, it is a lot. We have covered so much. Can you believe it? We only have 8 teams to go. We have 24 teams down, just 8 teams to go. And, well, by the end of today's show, we'll have just 4 more. And tomorrow we're talking, of course, AFC East. Once again, I just want to say thank you to everybody, y'all. This has been awesome. Those first 6 days have been great. Thank you all so very much to all of our guests. Every show, it has been great. And you guys have really made this thing tick. And it is so great. And yeah, Taron in the chat room, AFC Best, absolutely have an amazing show. Thanks, brother. And 8 divisions in 8 days is going by quick. It really is, you guys. I mean, training camp is getting started for some teams. Some teams are already underway. And, well, here we go, you guys. We're getting right on into August. August is just days away. And we are getting ready and set for what should be another, well, no, I'm sorry. It's football, you guys. It will be another great season. Last year was a rough one, but it's all good. We're back at it this year and really, really excited to see a lot of guys in the field this year that weren't last year and just so many great things. So, with that said, we are getting ready and set to talk AFC West. Now, oh man, this is such a crazy division. You have teams that are so lopsided in certain ways. You have teams that are near perfection, and you got teams that are so close. I mean, it's incredible how I think this division is much more competitive than what people want to give it credit for. People say, "Oh, it's the Chargers; they don't have any fans," and then their offensive line isn't that great. Well, let's take a look at that offensive line. It's actually not as bad as you think it is. And also, let's take a look at this guy behind center. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a Raider to tried and true Raider. I can't stand the Chargers or the Chiefs or the Broncos, but I will give them their props where props is due, and I will definitely tell you how I really feel about them, as in, outside of a Raider fan, a football fan, and these 4 teams aren't that bad. They're really not. I give them all crap because I can't stand 3 of them, and one of them is my team that can't seem to get it freaking together, so I'm going to criticize them no matter what. But at the end of the day, they're actually pretty solid football teams. And once again, you want to argue about that, that's fine. That's what we're here for. Go ahead. Have fun. Let's jump in that chat room. Say what's up. That's not a challenge to anybody. I'm just saying that this division is actually a little bit better than what people could think. What people may think, oh, yeah, Drew Lock. Oh, he sucks. Or, you know what I mean? Or, oh, who's going to start at quarterback for the Broncos this year? And, their offensive line, they got a couple guys that aren't even worth the crap. And they got a few solid guys there. And can Von Miller stay healthy? And, you get all that. And then the Raiders, of course. Oh, the Raiders suck. Okay, I'll tell you right now, yeah, we do kind of suck because we haven't gotten it together. But if you look at this team on paper, which, of course, we all know games are not won on paper. But this is actually a solid team that can really compete. Once again, at the end of the day, it's all about health. Ask the Chargers about that last year. It's all about COVID, unfortunately, health. Which is, let's hope to God no one gets sick this year. Let's hope that everyone's healthy and we have a good, strong season. That, hopefully injuries don't mess anybody up either. But let's hope COVID doesn't have nothing to say about this. And we got our player, everybody's playing, everybody. So overall, I think this is a very, very strong division. Is it the strongest in the NFL? I wouldn't call it that. But I would definitely say that this is one of the better divisions. Once again, fight me. Bring it. I mean, it is what it is. But these 4 teams are actually pretty good teams. They really are. And you have a juggernaut among these 4 as well. But the other 3, I don't think are very far behind. And I think they're almost about equal. So overall, this is I like it. There's a lot here. Terrence says in the chat room, the Chargers and Broncos are a few pieces away. The Raiders, the past 2 seasons have had great starts to the season, but then have fallen flat on their faces. And absolutely, Terrence has it absolutely correct. Yeah, both the Chargers and Broncos have just a few. I mean, it's like, my goodness, they just need a few more pieces, and that puzzle is looking nice. And then the Raiders, yeah, it's like I think we kind of already have what we need in a sense. It's like, can we not fall apart? And maybe we do need a few more pieces. I'm just saying, this is actually a pretty cool division, and I really think that you're just a casual football fan that doesn't have a team or whatever. Pay attention to this division. It's a really good division, so I like it. It's a lot of fun, and there we go. So with that said, you guys, it's gonna be a fun one today. We're starting things off talking Chargers with our very own Taryn Rodriguez. Then we're talking Chiefs with Bobby Tuzinski, of course. Hopefully soon to be an iSports Radio Hall of Famer. He was nominated last year, and definitely one of the biggest one of the biggest Chiefs fans we know. He's always there. We need him here at iSports Radio as well on 3 and Out, and he's a great guy. And then, of course, Gary Funk, the brand new host of our Colorado show, Made in Colorado. We'll be talking some Broncos, and then me, your boy Larry D, will be weighing in on the Raiders, and then weighing in on the entire division later on. So overall, you guys, it's gonna be fun. You're gonna have a little bit more of me, as than usual, than the previous 6 shows, and then back to the regular, 4 recordings tomorrow. But I'll be live for the Raiders segment. But with that said, you guys, let's have a great show. Let's enjoy it. Let's have fun. There's a lot of good football talk in this one. Taryn and I really get into some nuts and bolts about the Chargers. Bobby and I have some fun talking about the Chiefs and how the division is really growing too. And Gary and I just have we have some rivalry talk in there, and also just kind of going back and forth about the division as well, and it's really good. So Terrence says here in the chat room, then you have the Chiefs, a team who has been the only team to represent from the AFC West in the playoffs. Absolutely. But is that going to change? Is there more? Are there more, can the other 3 teams step up? Are we going to have a carousel coming up pretty soon? And in the next couple of years, will this be a revolving door of teams that make the playoffs every year and fight like crazy, and the worst record is 8 and 9? I mean, wouldn't that be crazy? But I'm just saying, this for right now, and maybe I'm saying I'm dreaming because this is my division, whatever. But, I'm just saying, this division there's a couple of divisions in the NFL that I think are really close like this. A couple of them we've already gone over. So with that said, you guys, that is going to do it for the introduction. Let's have ourselves a great show, as I said, y'all. So, without further ado, moving on to the interviews. I want to thank you all once again. As always, got to say, big ups and all glory to God, y'all. Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Without him, nothing is possible. And of course, none of us, none of nothing. I respect nothing, man. And of course, big ups to all you listeners out there, y'all, because it's the truth. Without you guys, IE Sports Radio is nothing. So you deserve a clap. Y'all deserve some love. We appreciate you guys so very much. And enjoy the show. When we come back, we got one more chat in the room here. One more chat in the room. There's that big Sarah. Now the Chiefs are strong as always, but they're not invincible. Everyone knows their blueprint. Well, there you go. Well, opinions are opinions, and I agree. They're getting figured out. So. But then again, Andy Reid will change things up, and the guy's a legendary coach for a reason. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump into our first break. When we get back, we're talking Chargers with Taryn Rodriguez of IE Sports Radio, the host of Set Point, celebrating his 100th show on Monday. We get a hand clap for him. And, of course, celebrating his 50th episode just a couple weeks ago, the host of the SoCal Supreme Sports. The SoCal Supreme Sports Show, of course, Taryn Rodriguez. So, we'll be talking with him coming up next, right after this. You're listening to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, day number 7, AFC week, day number 3, AFC West Day, right here, once again, on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS. The SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, as you know, today is definitely a division that hits close to home for me, as well as my three other guests here today on the show. As you know, I will be the anchor of today's show, repping my Raiders. You always know I'm a mixed bag of, I guess you could say, fan emotions when it comes to the Raiders. So I think a lot of you would be surprised and not so surprised with what I've got to say later on today. But as you've already heard in the introduction, we got some great guests lined up for you guys today. And the one to start us off is definitely somebody who is worthy of kicking the entire show off and talking about how strong his team has really become in the last couple of years, at least with this new quarterback. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, he is without a doubt one of the hardest working men here at IE Sports Radio. He is 100% dedicated, and we love having him here. He is the host of Set Point, our volleyball show here. You can hear it on Monday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and of course, of the the SoCal Supreme Sports Show every Friday evening at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Ladies and gentlemen, he is IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer. I mean, the guy does everything we ask him to do, and he does all that and more. He's a reporter. The guy is in every bit of sports you can think about, and it's just very awesome and an honor to have him here today, and an honor to have him a part of the IE Sports Radio family. One of the COOs here at IE Sports Radio, and also an honor to call him a great friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in the one, the only, Mr. Taryn Rodriguez. What's going on, Taryn? How you doing today, man?
Yo, what's happening, Larry B? It is great to be here. I'm happy to have you, happy to be on here, and I honestly am honored to be on here.
Well, it is great to have you, man. It's an honor right back to have you. It is awesome, man. We got you inducted to the Hall of Fame this past year. I mean, and my apologies, man. T-shirts are coming. Just waiting for that first big paycheck from the district when I start working in the next month. But things are kicking, man. Things are going along. Things are going really, really well. And it's awesome, dude. You're a Hall of Famer now. You've definitely achieved so much here at this station, and we're just excited for what you got coming up, man.
I'm excited, too, and I'm honored to be in the Hall of Fame, and I appreciate everyone that voted for me, and I appreciate everyone that nominated me. I really do.
Well, once again, man, the honor's right back your way, man. So we appreciate you being a part of our team, and like I said, even a part of the Hall of Fame. So with that said, man, you, of course, are a diehard Chargers fan. You love your team, and this team is certainly one to be excited about, because of all of the acquisitions that were made, and the drafts, and so many great things, man. Really, just so many great things coming up with these Chargers. So once again, you are listening to 3 and Out, 8 Divisions in 8 days. Day number 3 here on Wednesday. Of course, this interview was recorded on Saturday the 24th. This show is being aired on Wednesday the 28th. But as I mentioned, we are talking AFC West today. We're halfway through the AFC. We talked the AFC South on Monday, the AFC North yesterday on Tuesday, and we're talking the AFC East tomorrow to finish off AFC week, and, of course, 8 divisions in 8 days. So we're halfway through the AFC, and here to take the first bite of the second half of the AFC, we got Taryn once again, y'all. So with that said, Taryn, talk to us, man. How about these Chargers? Go ahead and talk to us. Talk us through last season, I guess, as in its entirety as you like to, and let us know what you felt all throughout last year as a Chargers fan, and, of course, with the final result.
So, obviously, I didn't expect too much from the Chargers just because it was most likely going to be a rebuilding season. It was kind of what's the word to, define the Chargers season? All over the place, because a lot of things happened, and a lot of unfortunate events happened, a lot of fortunate events happened, and for starters, I feel bad for Tyrod Taylor. God bless that guy. He got the Chargers their first win, and unfortunately, a lot of other hijinks happened. But with his departure, unfortunately for Taylor, but fortunately for Chargers fans, Justin Herbert came into the fold and took over, and he put up so many great numbers, and he only did it in 15 games, and he did it with a bad O-line, and some of his receivers caught COVID and were injured, and his running back was injured, his all-purpose running back was injured, and then it didn't help that the coordinator / gameplay was just revolved around running the ball. And it's the fact that Herbert put up those numbers with everything against him was just absolutely amazing. And honestly, I can only imagine what he could have done if he had that week 1. So it's really amazing that Justin Herbert has been receiving lots of high praise. He received high praise from Drew Brees, saying he could be a 15-year franchise quarterback, and I'm excited for the future that is being brought to us. And obviously, last year was last year, 7-9, but a lot of those games were decided by one score, with the exception of a few, of course. And obviously, it stinks that they had to lose a bunch of those one-score games, like to the Chiefs, the Bucks, and the Saints. and the Donkeys and the Raiders. But I digress on that one. But it was still quite a good sight to see, and it gave me a lot more hope because I said last year I wasn't expecting Lombardi quite soon for the Chargers. But with Justin Herbert, my hope has now been restored.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Herbert is, as advertised, the guy took the league by storm, and he is definitely, I think, your guys' quarterback of the future. You guys got your man. So he is, without a doubt, going to do so many great things there, and I'm excited for it, man. So let's go ahead and talk about this offseason now. So free agency acquisitions, this is courtesy of overthecap.com. We have here a whole bunch of moves in free agency. Now, it's not an entirely crazy amount, but it's enough to create a stir. So with that said, longtime Charger Melvin Ingram is on his way to the Steelers. That was crazy on its own. Casey Hayward staying in the division and going to a very familiar team that you guys love to hate, my team, the Raiders. You have Try Turner, right guard, on his way to the Steelers as well. Hunter Henry, oh my goodness. I didn't think I'd ever see this guy leave the Chargers, and, well, he's going to the Patriots, which is just going to make their offense better. Denzel Perryman, that was a kick, man. That hurt because that guy he's a great linebacker, and of course he'll be going to the Panthers, definitely helping make that defense a lot better, but another tough departure for the Chargers. You guys would also lose, of course, as you mentioned, Tyrod Taylor, going over to the Texans. You guys will lose Nick Vigil, linebacker, will head on over to the Vikings. Damian Square, I talked about him a little bit ago as well, with actually, of course, I was recording all these interviews on Saturday, or some of them, and he's heading on over to the Browns. Our good friend and our brother at IX Sports Radio, Andrew Hagenball, is pretty excited for that pickup there for them. But tough departure for the Chargers, at least in my opinion. The guy's a pretty good player. Dan Feeney, left guard, going to the Jets. I mean, there's a lot of players that made their way out, which is tough. Sam Tavai, of course, as well, left tackle, going over to the Colts. But then you guys made some good pickups. And some pickups that I would like to go list are Corey Lindsey for the Packers, on over the Chargers at center. You guys will have picked up, I don't know how important Chase Daniel will be, but he's coming from the Lions on over. Ryan Smith, corner from the Buccaneers, Super Bowl winning Buccaneers, by the way, is heading on over to the Chargers, so that's quite the pickup there. Christian Covington, with defensive lineman, heading on over from the Bengals to the Chargers. So, some pretty good pickups here. And then, of course, you guys kept some good players, of course, including Michael Bagsley, Ty Long, Brandon Faison, I believe I don't butcher his name, Tavon Campbell, and Trey St. Louis. So, overall, or Trey St. Louis, I believe I don't butcher his name, but overall, some good pickups, some tough departures. Of course, Jared Cook as well, going from the Saints over to the Chargers. So, you guys are putting together re-putting together the offense since you guys lost Hunter Henry. But anyway, so enough of me yapping. Those are just some departures and pickups you guys made. But go ahead and talk to us, Taryn. Which of those, or any other ones you want to throw in there, were your biggest pickups and biggest departures of this season, and why?
So something else. Another big pickup that the Chargers had was Matt Filer from the Steelers, of the offensive line, which that was quite big for the Chargers, getting him. And I kind of talked about this on the most recent episode of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, that it seems like the Chargers players have been going to the Steelers and then kind of bit of an exchange for Matt Filer. So it's technically a trade. Technically, the Chargers traded for Matt Filer, as they sent Melvin Ingram, Kalen Ballage, and Try Turner. So, yeah, there were quite a bit of departures. Some of them I actually didn't even know, and I was very bummed that Hunter Henry left. And I was hoping that the Chargers would ink him back, but unfortunately, he has gone to the Patriots. And one of my good friends, who is a Patriots fan, is most likely going to dry my tears once the Chargers plays the Patriots. So, but all in all, I think it's still, Chargers still have a solid roster. They still have Keenan Allen. I think they've locked him up for quite a bit of years. They have Austin Eckler, who, despite having a hamstring injury, he put up solid numbers. They have, and at tight end, they have Donald Parham, who is an undrafted rookie, or was an undrafted rookie, but he's like 6'8", 6'9", and he performed quite well. Like, he performed, even when Hunter Henry didn't play, or they had to, like, use him as a second tight end, he performed quite nicely, considering he didn't have too much experience and whatnot. So, and then the wide receiver core is pretty solid, honestly. Not just with Keenan Allen, but with Mike Williams out of Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Guyton was a tremendous surprise. Tyron Johnson emerged. Like, it also helps that Justin Herbert made those players really spectacular. Like, he could make an average receiver look like Tyreek Hill.
Well, I'll tell you right now, definitely some big pickups there, and awesome. And you already got into a little bit of our last segment, so good stuff there. But take a look at the draft. Taking a quick step back to the draft. We're taking a look here, courtesy of ESPN.com. And first things first, man, you guys had a pretty, at least in my opinion, you know what, it was decent, a good draft. Rashawn Slater, offensive lineman at Northwestern. You know, that's not always the most popular pick in offensive linemen. But at the end of the day, you know what, man? This is offensive linemen that save your butt. And now that you guys have your man, your guy, the one who's going to make it happen behind center, you need to build a fortress around that guy. And I feel like it's starting, man. Slater was a beast. You can ask our buddy Adam Karnick, of course, over at Chi-Town Weekly, covering all Chicago sports, and here at iSports Radio, and yeah, he can tell you a thing or two about this young man, because he's a big freaking dude. Definitely one tough tackle. Good pickup there. Next up, Asante Samuel Jr. His father was a monster, and he's a monster, okay, playing corner out of Florida State. Good stuff there, picking him up. Next up, you'll pick up Josh Palmer, wide receiver out of Tennessee. Pretty solid player. Trey McKitty out of Georgia, tight end, another pickup there to help out with Jared Cook. I mean, Chris Rumpf II, outside linebacker out of Duke. I mean, we mentioned you guys lost Denzel Perryman and some players there. This guy's a pretty quick player. So, you know, I'm not going to name everybody, but at the end of the day, dude, you guys picked up some pretty good players in this draft. I want to know all your thoughts. What do you think about these players? And give this draft a grade if you'd like.
So I was pretty satisfied with the draft overall. Like, I knew they needed to take offensive linemen just because they needed to protect Justin Herbert. I'm like, please do not take a wide receiver. And I was kind of hoping the Chargers would get Penei Sewell, but that was a long shot for him to drop all the way down to number 13. And here's the thing about the number 13 pick. So does everyone remember that the Tampa Bay Bucks had the number 13 pick in the previous draft, and they selected an offensive lineman? Well, that eventually panned out for them. I'm not trying to compare the Chargers to the Bucks, because that's basically comparing Gushers to frosted shredded wheat, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I think that offensive lineman with the first round pick was great, and Asante Samuel was a great little cornerback pick, considering their corners they obviously had to they didn't release their cornerbacks. Like, they did release one corner, and then I think one left for free agency, and their cornerback core is starting to recuperate, as they have Mike Davis, they have Chris Harris Jr., and then with Asante Samuel Jr., I think that's going to make their wide receiver core just better. And you talked about Joshua Palmer. I was a little skeptical, especially after the draft. I saw that Tommy Tremble was kind of in the Chargers' lap, and then he unfortunately went to the Panthers. And I'm like, oh no. But I talked to one of my good friends who is a Tennessee fan, Seth Eves, and he says that Joshua Palmer has a lot of upside, and he can develop quite nicely. And it really makes the receiver core just really strong for the Chargers, with Palmer joining the likes of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. And Trey McKitty, everyone is knocking this pick quite nicely, but it's like the Chargers have the weakest tight end room of the AFC West. There's no denying that, obviously. But I will say this. I think the Chargers are starting to pick up the pieces, and they're starting to pick up a little steam. And if I had to give the draft a grade overall, I'd probably give it like a B+. I'm not really known for giving out A's unless I see this one player that the Chargers take that's like, oh, I know this guy. That's a great pick. But their picks were solid. I think they also addressed their kick. They actually had a couple picks that were kickoff return picks, and then they also had another offensive lineman from, I think, Nebraska, who never missed a game or hardly missed a game in his tenure with Nebraska. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I give it a B+. If they had gotten Trumbull, that would for sure have been an A, but I can't complain with this draft too much.
I definitely think you guys had a good draft, and yeah, I don't know if I give it an A either, but you guys had a solid draft. I'm telling you, man, the Chargers are up and coming. Like this is this should be an exciting season for you guys. So let's take a quick look here. You already started getting into it, Taryn, but the depth chart as of right now. So we have a good amount of players, and it's really, we have a good amount of players who are really like high caliber. Like you know what. Yes, like this dude right here can totally make something happen. So you just take a look at a lot of these athletes here, and though there were some departures, it really doesn't feel like you guys lost too much, especially with that draft. So right now, you guys have Herbert. Of course, we know the man behind center will be Justin Herbert. Also, Chase Daniel and Easton Stick backing him up. Austin Eckler. This dude is like... he's every bit of like diehard you want. Like this guy is somebody who's going to go to work for you all the time. I love what he brings to the table, and he's just really just one heck of a player, man. So great stuff with him. Mike Williams, let's see here, Jalen Guyton, as you mentioned, Keenan Allen earlier, good stuff. Gabe Neighbors at fullback. Then you have the offensive line. Brian Bulaga is a great addition. The guy is a freaking beast. Also, Corey Lindsley, we mentioned, there you go. There's that pickup that you guys were definitely a huge pickup there. Rashawn Slater, whoops, did I say that? The guy is a beast. The guy is an absolute beast. I love watching Slater play. Am I a fan of Slater, Taryn?
Sounds like it, yes.
This guy, I think, is going to make things happen. I really like what he brings to the table. He is absolutely him and Balaga. Now, why am I so high on tackles? Because I play defensive end myself, Taryn. And when you have two strong tackles, there's only one thing I can really tell you, Taryn. There's only one thing I can really tell you. If you have two really good tackles, you're going to be able to throw the ball. And right now, I feel like the Chargers went and got two good tackles that are going to allow Herbert to be very mobile in the pocket and to give him some time. But we also know that he can take off, and the guy's not afraid, and he's an athlete. So overall, man, I don't know much about Ade Abushi, but I do know, or Matt Filer, but I do know this offensive line looks pretty solid. Okay. Then we take a look at the defense here, and dude, Gary Tillery, okay, we've known he's been a beast. Bosa, okay, you guys play that 34 defense. Linval Joseph, solid, okay. Justin Jones, Kazir White, Nwosu. I think we both know where Nwosu came from, Darren. The guy is... an absolute beast. He was a beast in his USC days. He's a beast here. Chris Harris, Derwin James, we know he's a monster. Nazir Adderley, this guy is awesome. He's a youngster that came out of Delaware, Division I AA school. Michael Davis, seriously, man. And also Kenneth Murray there at backer. This defense looks solid, man. I think honestly, if this offense can get themselves together, they will be pretty good. So with that said, Taryn, what you think, man? Give us what you think about this entire offense, about the entire team. Let us know what you think. Are there any player roles you think are gonna, certain players are going to take on? What do you think their roles are? Or if not, just go ahead and tell us, man, what are your expectations for the Chargers this season?
So the expectations for the Chargers this season should be a lot better than they were last year. Like, everyone was thinking the Chargers were going to finish at the bottom of the AFC West. They didn't really. They're actually close to finishing second. Like, had the Raiders lost to the Broncos, then they would have theoretically finished second, which I don't know how. I don't know why. Both teams would have been 7-9, but I guess the Chargers would have had the tiebreaker. But I digress. So last year, Derwin James got hurt, and I am praying that Derwin James stays healthy. I felt so bad for the poor guy, and to see him back on the field doing his thing, I'm hoping that he does his darndest this year, because I don't want him to be the next Jason Verrett, where he was on the Chargers and then they eventually got rid of him, and I think he won a Super Bowl with the Patriots and whatnot. But the whole defense as a whole should be better. I know the Chargers got a new defensive coordinator. I think he came from the Broncos, and he was a part of that team that won the Super Bowl back when Peyton Manning was still QB. Super Bowl 50, that's what it was. And it's great that they got that defensive coordinator. I don't know what his name is off the top of my head, but he did work with Chris Harris Jr., which definitely benefits him. And honestly, the defense should be better. I think that was what the Chargers struggled with last year. Obviously, Derwin James not playing last season did not help, but the defense was super leaky last year, and unfortunately, it just broke instead of bent, which was disappointing. But I think this year it should be a whole lot better. I think the defense looks a little bit more youthful, and so long as the defense stays healthy, I think the Chargers have a legit shot. And also, Linval Joseph, I think, dropped like 40 pounds, I want to say. I think he was once at like 300. Now he's at 265. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that. But I know Linval Joseph has dropped some weight, which is amazing to see. So as for the Chargers offense, I think the offense isn't really the biggest issue. I think the offensive line was the biggest issue last year. But the Chargers are definitely addressing it. Brian Bulaga not being healthy last year, not being fully healthy last year, didn't make matters better. And also not having the greatest, and also having injuries upon the entire offensive line with like to Trey Turner and Storm Norton. Like, I think Storm Norton's primary position was tight end, and he actually came from the XFL, and then he had to like switch to like tackle or something. Regardless, or offensive tackle, but regardless, I think putting points on the board isn't an issue for the Chargers. It's just that it was an issue with Anthony Lynn, and God bless Anthony Lynn. He's a great guy, but unfortunately, the Chargers just kept going backward with him, and he wasn't even fully committed with Justin Herbert to start, even when he put forth a great effort against the Chiefs in his first ever start, which he had less than a minute to prepare, and he looked like he was a veteran. So all in all, I'm very excited for the Chargers season. I really have high hopes for Herbert, and I hope the Chargers can just build around him, because they're building something really great with the Chargers. And I think it's starting to build more revenue and more fansmanship. Like, I had a friend on the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, and he was even excited for Justin Herbert. And keep in mind, everyone was saying Justin Herbert was going to be the biggest bust in the NFL, and everyone was probably thinking he was going to be the next Ryan Leaf or something, but he definitely exceeded those expectations and then some. He broke the rookie touchdown record, and he almost broke the rookie yard touchdown record, which was set by Carson Wentz, or was it Andrew Luck? Either way, he almost set the rookie passing yard record, and I think he also set the rookie rushing yard record as well. He broke a lot of records, and he was named the Offensive Rookie of the Year. I feel bad for Justin Jefferson, but Justin Jefferson was a good sport in the end. He said, "Congrats, well deserved," and that takes class right there. So, all in all, I'm very excited for the Chargers. I really can't wait to see what they can do, and I really hope they can exceed expectations because they're kind of like the longer extended version of the Chicago Cubs. They have not won anything, and I know people don't think they belong in Los Angeles, but I think they're starting to like build a new culture with the Chargers. And with Brandon Staley at the helm, he's going to really help that defense because he was the defensive coordinator for the LA Rams, and I think he can implement a very good defense with the Rams. Or not the Rams, the Chargers, because he already likes Joey Bosa, Kenneth Murray, Derwin James, Dante Samuel Jr., the list goes on. And I think he's going to revitalize that defense to what it once was back in 2018, if I remember correctly, that defense helped the Chargers get, 13 or 12 wins, I want to say. Regardless, regardless, I'm very excited, and I can't wait to see what the Chargers have in store for me this year.
Me too, man. And like I said, I mean, I'm even a rival team, but I don't care, man. I love football, and just seeing Herbert play, man. I mean, you and me are no stranger to the Pac-12, man, or not strangers to the Pac-12, that is. And seeing this young man play football is just awesome. He looks to be that guy. I mean, it'd be so cool to see him be the first, the quarterback to finally get the Chargers their first bowl. I mean, seriously, man. I mean, they just got to build around him, man. And more than anything, they just got to put offensive linemen around him. And if they can do that, get him a few weapons, the guy's going to make it happen. And, as a team, they will because he's a team guy. And I love that about him, too. But it's just, good athletes, man. And he's definitely one of those he's just a generational type of guy. I really like his talent. And you guys have a solid team, man. So with that said, Darren, let's go ahead and have some fun talking some crap, man. You can be nice and respectful, mean and nasty, however you want to, man. But let everybody know, of course, what you think the other teams in the division are going to do, those other three teams. And, of course, let everybody know, of course, what they're going to do this season. Let everybody know what you think they're going to do this season. And, of course, let everybody know how you feel about those other three teams. Taryn, this is your time, brother. Stick it to them.
So last year when I did stick it to them on 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, I dropped the ball. But I didn't drop the ball as much as Jerry Jeudy of the Broncos.
No.
Oh, baby. All right. And with that said, I actually when I was planning out how to do stick it to them, I decided to look up one word that describes each team. I'm going to start with the Broncos. The Broncos, in my opinion, if there's one word to describe them, it would have to be apathy. For starters, everyone bought into their hype saying, this team's going to do some great things, and everyone should be invested in the Broncos. Some even had the Broncos winning the division, believe it or not. Like, I saw one analyst, whose name I'm not going to put out there just because I'm a respectful guy, but he said the Broncos were going to win the AFC West. And I'm like, okay. And then if it were opposite day, he would have been correct, but that didn't turn out well for the Broncos. And let me just say, can you all stop with this whole Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson to the Broncos thing? Like, you're going to have to give up a lot for those two. And honestly, what have you done ever since Peyton Manning won you your Super Bowl? I get it. Y'all are going to use the whole my shower curtains has more rings than the Chargers, but I don't give a rat's tail or a fiddler's fart. I don't care if you use the rings joke. You can use the rings joke until you're blue in the face, but I don't care. You have not done anything since Peyton Manning won you that Super Bowl. And the only thing Peyton Manning has done for you all is sing commercial jingles for insurance companies and whatnot. For Nationwide. So all in all, and please stop hyping Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, God bless Teddy Bridgewater for all he's been through, but Drew Lock is not the golden child. Like, he's probably the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. And no disrespect to the guy, but what is Drew Lock going to do to the Chiefs, Raiders, and Chargers? What, is he going to rap to them and bore us all to death? Is he going to lip sync? Is he going to dance? Like, are we really threatened against Drew Lock?
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
think so. So, all right. So that's pretty much my definition of the Broncos is afterthought. Now let's jump to the Raiders. So, Larry, if I really apologize for this, except not really. If there's one word to describe the Raiders, it's disappointment.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, I have been so high. I was actually surprised to see the Raiders get off to such great starts that I was even thinking they'd make the postseason. And then the wheels started to fall off, and everything just collapsed. And it's like another collapse. And I want to say there were like 7-2, 7-3 at one point, and then they lost almost all their remaining games. That loss against the Broncos, unfortunately, didn't mean much, considering both the Raiders and the Broncos were eliminated. So, all in all, my thing about the Raiders is, I hate to say it, but the word that I describe them as is disappointment, because they look so good at times, and then in the latter half of the season, they wind up collapsing. Like Derek Carr, I don't care if it's Derek Carr, Derek Anderson, Derek Fisher, Derek Favors, Derek whoever. The Raiders are not threatening with Derek anybody. Like, I'm sorry. And also, if you want to get Aaron Rodgers yourself, you're going to have to give up an arm and a leg and probably the gigantic pyramid in Las Vegas if you want to get Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson or Devontae Adams. So please stop with this whole ambitions thing of trying to get those superstar players to come to the Raiders. And I really am probably going to stir the pot with this statement, but the autumn wind, more like the autumn fart, because, again, every time they manage to do something spectacular or they're off to a hot start in the season, that's what happens.
Oh.
That's why I call the Raiders the autumn fart. So now we go to the Chiefs, and I can't knock the Chiefs too much. Their one word that I describe them as is consistent. They're consistently good practically every year, and last year was no exception. Unfortunately, the offensive line really hurt them. But I will also say this. The Chiefs are nowhere near invincible. Like, the fact that they almost lost to a rookie quarterback who had less than a minute, maybe 30 seconds to prepare, kind of speaks high volumes. And I think everyone was rooting for Justin Herbert that game. Unfortunately, injuries did the Chargers in. Anthony Lynn deciding not to go for it on 4th and 1 and giving the ball to the Chiefs after they won the coin toss didn't work. So I respect the Chiefs highly, and I'm not just saying that because I don't want Chiefs fans to kill me. I'm just saying that because the Chiefs have a great organization, and Patrick Mahomes is the real deal. But I will also say this. You better be careful, Mahomes. First and foremost, Justin Herbert will make the Chiefs-Chargers a big rivalry again. It's not going to be as legendary as Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, but the Chiefs, if there's another word to describe them, is careful. They have to be careful because now that they're still the big bad team of the AFC, that target is getting bigger and bigger. And they played so many close games. Why so close? Why so close against the Panthers, the Broncos, the Raiders both times, the Chargers, the Falcons, for goodness sake? Like, every one of their games last year, or mostly every one of their games last year, were close. And it's like, you're this dominant team, and you're even struggling to put said teams away. It's funny, disappointing, and head-scratching. I'm sorry, but it really is. So Chiefs are nowhere near invincible. Let's get one thing straight. They are not invincible. They're not bulletproof. They are a human team that can be beaten on any given Sunday. And your Raiders actually did that. And I got to give them a tip of the cap right there. So if I were the Chiefs, I would not be on their high horse, puffing out my chest and saying, we're the best team since canned bread and whatnot. So, and to all three fan bases that keep saying the Chargers haven't won anything, or imagine being a Chargers fan, or the Chargers have no fans, your material is getting old. If I had a dime for every time I heard those things, whether the Chargers have not won a Super Bowl, the Chargers are overrated, the Chargers have no fans, blah, 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 my mom and my stepdad would be able to retire, and I would be able to retire. And more importantly, student college debt wouldn't be a thing. That's how much I always hear when it comes to the whole thing. And let me just tell all three fan bases, I don't care. You can say all you want, but I am still rooting for the Chargers, and I will still be loud and proud to support my team, no matter whether they go 17-0, 0-17, or whether they win or lose the Super Bowl. I am still proud to root for the Chargers, and even though the Chargers did move from San Diego, I still got to root for them. Everyone jumped off the bandwagon after the Chargers moved from San Diego to LA, and I kind of understand it. I totally understand because San Diego was mainly their home, but the Chargers did start off in Los Angeles. They started off in LA in 1960, and then they eventually moved to San Diego, and then they moved back to LA. So that's kind of your history lesson right there, and that's pretty much all I got. So again, the Chiefs, Broncos, and Raiders fans, you can come at me all you like with the whole Chargers jokes, but I'm still standing. I'm still rooting for the Chargers, and that's not going to change anytime soon.
Darren, that was beautiful. Beautiful. I was even against myself, and I thought it was beautiful. Wonderful job, man. That is going to be nominated, I think. It should be nominated as one of the best sticker tools of the freaking of the entire 8 divisions in 8 days, man. That was absolutely awesome, and definitely you show why you're a true diehard fan, man. So with that said, brother, thank you so much for everything, man, for being on today's show, for letting it out, how you feel about every other team in the division, and just great stuff, man. Go ahead and let everybody know where all these diehard Chargers fans can find you on Twitter and your podcast and everything else you like to do, man.
So you can find me on Twitter at Taron Rodriguez1. That's TeranRodriguez, and then the number 1. That's my main Twitter account where I tweet a lot of things. And then you can follow the SoCal Supreme Sports Show on Twitter at SoCal Show IESR. So it's capital S-O, capital C-A-L, and then the word show, and then IESR. And then you can also follow all things volleyball on Set Point, which is set_point.ie on Twitter as well. So that's pretty much all where I post all my volleyball things. And I appreciate you having me on, Larry. It really means a lot, and I'm honored to be on here. And bolt up, baby. Bolt gang or don't bang.
I'm loving it. Well, that's it, Taron. As always, man, the honor goes both ways, man. Thanks for being here and a part of the iSports Radio family and in the iSports Radio Hall of Fame, man. We appreciate you, man. Thank you for everything, and we look forward to having you back on the show very, very soon, man. You have a wonderful rest of your evening, a wonderful weekend, man. Take care. God bless you and your family, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Larry. Salute, good sir.
Salute. Have a good one, man. Take care.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Taron Rodriguez, man, what a job that was, man. The guy's the real deal. Always great to have him on the show. So, with that said, you guys, went a little bit over, but it's all good. Good stuff there. So, with that said, we got plenty coming up right after this. We got the other 3 teams in the AFC West, and of course, me as the anchor talking about my Raiders. So, let's go ahead and see if I agree with anything Taron said or disagree, and let's see how I come at everybody else. Taron definitely did his part. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for the Chargers. Next up, we'll continue on with the AFC West right here on 3 and Out, 8 Divisions in 8 Days. AFC Week, day number 3, AFC West Day, right here on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
What is going on, everybody? This is Ben Matello, the host of the Yinza Report, right here on IE Sports Radio. I'm bringing you the latest in the Steel City, the City of Champions, from the Steelers, the Penguins, the Pirates, as well as the college game with both Penn State and Pitt. You could join me every Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on IE Sports Radio, where I'll be talking about everything from the Steel City, the City of Champions, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Shores of the Puget Sound to the rushing waters of the Columbia River, stretching across the Great Cascades, and on IE Sports Radio lives the Northwest Territory Sports Show, hosted by me, Brad Buckingham. On this show, I cover all the great collegiate and professional sport teams that we have here in the Pacific Northwest. Of course, I'm talking about the Seattle Seahawks, Seattle Mariners, Sounders, and even the Seattle Kraken. But I can't forget all of that is good in Oregon either. I got the Trailblazers, the Oregon Ducks, the Beavers, even the Timbers, and much, much more. You can listen to this show every Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern, noon to 1 p.m. Pacific on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, here we go. This is always so much fun talking about this team because of how good they are and how good they just might continue to be for a while. As a Raider fan, I grit my teeth when I say that. Crunch, crunch, crunch. But I'll tell you right now, you can't hate on greatness. That's just all there is to it. So I'm excited, y'all. Today we are finishing up, we're getting through the AFC West. As you already heard, the first guest, my boy Taron Rodriguez, talking about his Los Angeles Chargers. And next up, you will have the Chiefs. Then we'll get on to the Broncos, and then I'll be talking my Raiders as the anchor of today's show. I will be personally taking that spot this year, because, I just want to talk about my Raiders. So with that said, you guys, bringing up the second guest of 3 and Out, 8 divisions, 8 days, day number 3, AFC West Day, talking all things Kansas City Chiefs. He is no stranger to the show. He is going to be renominated to the IE Sports Radio Hall of Fame. I think he was in last year. He was in the votes, but he didn't make it. He got pretty far. I think so. And I don't know if he was there the year before there. But all I know is this guy's been around for a while. He's a dang diehard. If he's only been around a year, then my goodness, my apologies. But I think he's been around a little bit longer than that. That's how awesome this guy is and how much he always gives us the time of day. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here for his up-team time here on IE Sports Radio on 3 and Out, and glad to have him back. Die-hard Chiefs fans all the way from the heartland of America. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Mr. Bobby Tuzinski. What's going on, Bobby? How you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm just looking forward to football season. I'm tired of baseball.
Are those Royals giving you the blues?
Well, they're not too bad this week. They actually swept the Brewers and the Tigers, but, Detroit's nothing to really brag about, but they always seem to play their best baseball when they're 20 games under 500.
The funniest thing about the Royals is, I just put that, I don't know if you saw it on the IE Sports Radio page, but I put it up there the other day. I was like, that feeling when the last place team in the AL Central sweeps in a 2-game, sweeps, I know it was only a 2-game series, but sweeps the first place team in the NL Central. The Brewers. I'm sorry, but that was hilarious. Like, how does that happen, man? It's like the Raiders. No, I guess that happens because the Raiders get lucky every now and then. We beat a good team, every now and then. Like last year, we beat you guys, the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So
don't remind me.
I'm sorry. Hey, that felt good to beat you guys, okay? Especially how good you were. That lets me know that we're going in the right direction. But, yeah, man, you guys, but you better stop it over there with your guys' Lombardi. It's all good. I mean, hopefully we can get one of those soon. With that said, though,
yeah, you beat us once, so we'll wait another 5 years till you guys beat us again.
Oh, okay.
Like that,
all right, I got you. I got your number. I'm gonna call you right now, but you already called me. My bad. So with that said, brother, I appreciate you so much, man, for being here today, man. And just it really does mean a lot. See, ladies and gentlemen, Chiefs and Raiders can get along. So with that said, let's do this, Bobby. So first things first. The Kansas City Chiefs. My goodness, where do we begin? You guys have a Lombardi the year before. You guys get all the way back looking for the repeat. And unfortunately, Tom Brady and his Bucks just don't let you have it. And they win it, and they have it. They have their first Lombardi since the last time they beat the crap out of my Raiders. Let's not talk about that. But, I'm pretty sure you're like, oh, yeah, let's not talk about that. Anyway, I'm just saying. So. Okay, not funny. Funny joke. Just kidding. So, with that said, Bobby, so let's do the dang thing, man. Let's have some fun here today and talk about these Chiefs. So, first things first, brother, tell us all about last season. I know it was a kick in the balls, and it's not fun getting kicked in the balls, but that's exactly what happened last year when you guys lost Super Bowl. It sucks. I understand, man. So with that said, man, the same team, beat us about 20-some years ago. Almost 20-some years. Well, my goodness, almost 20 years ago. My goodness, think about that. But same team did the same thing to us. So with that said, man, thank you so much, like I said, for being on the show. Without further ado, Bobby, show us some love, man. What you got? Give us every emotion of last season as a Chiefs fan.
Well, I think last year you started off, they basically had that, run it back campaign. They pretty much brought every starter back from the previous season, that, team that won the Super Bowl, which I think was a smart move just based off how we were last fall and summer with COVID going on and the consistency of, being able to train with each other and a lot of unknown going into last year. So it made a lot of sense to kind of just bring back the whole team and have that consistency and cohesiveness. But I think in some regards, I think that kind of left some holes on the team. I mean, granted, this team got to the Super Bowl, but, obviously we saw it didn't really glare until we got to the Super Bowl with how bad the offensive line was. Sammy Watkins was, always has a, hamstring injury that pops up. I think they could have, gotten some maybe depth at wide receiver going to last season. But I'm not really going to complain too much about last season. Obviously, when you're a team as good as the Chiefs, your goal is to always win the Super Bowl. But getting there is not bad. And when you lose to a Hall of Famer like Tom Brady, you just kind of give you the tip of the cap to him. And, he is who he is. He's probably the best quarterback of all time. I don't think there's really an argument or discussion about that. So, I think you just, if you can win 2 out of 3 seasons of Super Bowl, that'd be pretty good too.
You know what, Bobby? See, that's why I love having you on the show, dude. You're a class athlete. You're about as respectful as I mean, you're absolutely right. Stop hating on Tom Brady, man. It's hilarious. My fiance gets mad at me every time. But I always have this running joke with Tom Brady. Always have this running joke. I mean, it's not really a running joke, but it's funny because he gets older every time I say his age. So at first, when we were talking about the Super Bowl last year, I was like, man, this guy's 59 years old and he's still winning. And then she's like, what? Oh my gosh. And then I told her the real age. And she was like, oh my gosh, he's not that old. I'm like, yes, he is. In football years, he's old. And then it just gets older and older. During the Super Bowl, I was like, this guy's 175 years old. He's out there. And I think I'm in the thousands already of how old he is every time I say his age. It just gets older and older. He's already surpassed Yoda. In my book. But dude, I mean, he's 43. You might as well be 1,050. I mean, the guy, but he's still making it happen. I mean, and like I said, that's not old as a human, but as in football, you better be amazingly in shape. And Tom Brady has exceeded all shapes. I mean, he's literally a shape of his own. We're going to have to start making that literally a shape for kindergarten kids. This is a circle, this is a triangle, this is Tom Brady. You know what I mean? He's his own shape, dude. Seriously, the guy's amazing. So it's incredible that what he's done and how great he is. So yeah, I completely agree, man. So yeah, thank you for showing him love and not showing him hate. Because yeah, once again, total respectful class act guy right here, Bobby Kaczynski. But once again, so let's go ahead and get on into this to this free agency, man. So free agency. Oh my goodness. Here we go, Bobby. You guys lost some great players. You gained some good players. So let's talk about a couple of the losses. One of the biggest gains, Joe Thuney, man, left guard out of New England, coming on over to play. Eric Fisher will head from the Chiefs over to the Colts. Ouch. But then again, I know you guys lost both your starting tackles. I know they're both injured for the Super Bowl. That could have been a big difference in the game. But you guys let them both go. Don't know exactly what how that whole thing goes. I don't want to get into that controversy or whatever it is, whatever. But anyway, that's what happened. But Jaron Reed coming on over from the Seahawks. I thought that was pretty good. Sammy Watkins. You guys will say goodbye to Sammy, unfortunately, but he's headed over to the Ravens. You guys will keep Daniel Sorensen at safety. Austin Blythe coming over from the Rams. You have Bashad Breeland. That is ouchie. Oh, that hurts. Ouchie, ouchie. I'm sorry. I heard one of my teachers say that one time. I thought it was hilarious when I was a kid. But okay, Chiefs, man. You guys losing a good player there to the Vikings. Damon Wilson headed over to the Jags. My goodness, man. Damian Williams headed over to the Bears. Just a lot of big losses. But then again, Blake Bell, Will Parks, not too shabby. 2 pickups there, Cowboys and Broncos. Really, man, when it comes down to it, Jerick McKinnon, I don't want to butcher his name, but Cascon, I forgot how you say his last name, but he's headed on over to the Saints. So once again, there's there's a lot of names to get to. Orlando Brown coming over from the Ravens to the Chiefs to play on the offensive line. Alex Brown going to the Lions from the Chiefs. Anyway, there's a million names here. Okay, a lot of names to say, but I do want to let you, of course, talk, not me, of course. So, lots of departures, lots of pickups. But what do you think were your biggest pickups and departures, and why?
Well, I think for the most part, every subtraction they had first off, I think they pretty much replaced in either free agency or through the draft. I think the big question mark, and I guess we'll talk about the elephant in the room, which is the offensive line. I think the only area that they haven't really replaced yet is the right tackle with Schwartz being cut. Because I kind of feel like, as you go left to right, the line is strongest to the left and it gets weaker as you go to the right. So as you mentioned earlier, they traded for Orlando Brown. They pretty much got Brown to replace Eric Fisher, who they cut. You mentioned some names earlier. They got Thuney from the Patriots. He's going to be probably the left offensive guard. And then you got Blythe, who's going to maybe start as a center, but he'll probably at some point either later in the year or maybe even the next season will be replaced by the guy they drafted from Oklahoma, Creed Humphrey. And then I think you look at, I try to think who their left guard is going to, or right guard is at the moment. That might be Long, but I think he did get hurt, so that's kind of a question mark right now. And then, like I said earlier, kind of Schwartz was a guy. I don't know if they really have they have someone there. I think Mike Remmers is right now the slated starter right now at tackle, but, that's obviously not a Schwartz. How can we replace Mitchell Schwartz there? So, for the most part, I think they've done well as far as, replacing their subtractions. You kind of mentioned about Watkins. I mentioned him earlier. I kind of feel like they're almost better off at wide receiver. I think they got more depth now than just having primarily Hill, Watkins, and Hardman. I think now you've got Pringle's going to be involved more, who was a guy who was kind of more of a fringe, like number 4 wide receiver. One of their latest draft picks, Powell, who was drafted out of Clemson. I think he's going to be a big impact. Just adding depth to that wide receiver core. So, and I think there's, you mentioned a lot of the names that came over. McKinnon, I think he's going to have a lot of depth to the running back field. They needed depth at running back with Damian Williams being cut. And I forgot about LDT at the offensive line. He's coming back from taking the season off after with COVID. So he actually is going to be the right guard, I believe, if he can come back to form like he was in 19. So, overall, it's like, they've lost some people, but at the same time, I think they've almost have gotten better at depth. And in some cases, I think they've gotten better at position. So, they've done that well with free agency and also through the draft. I didn't even talk about the first draft pick, Bolton, yet at linebacker. So, I think really they got some better depth now at linebacker. I'm really excited to see. Well, I don't know if you're wanting me to talk about the draft picks already, but I'm talking about the draft picks. I'm really excited to see Gray, the tight end, who's be working with Kelsey. So I'll leave that there unless you add your thoughts on that.
No, perfect. You see, Bobby, that's why you're an IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer candidate right now, man. You're the real deal. You're making the transition for me. You should be hosting the show instead of me, man. You're the real deal, brother. I appreciate you, man. But no, so let's take a quick look at the draft. That's where we're going next, man. So yeah, you guys did not have a first round draft pick, but it's all good because you acquired who was it again? Offensive line.
Yeah. Orlando Brown.
Duh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's pretty legit for a first round. I'll say that. You know what I mean? I remember. Good stuff. Good pick there. So big ups to Dave Friedman. They used to be the Kansas City Shuffle here at IE Sports Radio. I think it's departed recently. But yeah, it was hilarious because for draft day he put in there like, yep, the Kansas City draft, with the I forgot whatever pick, the Kansas City Chiefs draft Orlando Brown, and I'm like, yeah, pretty legit pick right there. Sometimes these rookies. You want them because they're the shiny new player in the league. But at the end of the day, sometimes, man, I guess much rather have a vet without too many years on him that could we know what he can do. Sometimes versus a youngster where you're not, what they can do. You're sure that they can, but you never quite know until you actually see it. Kind of sucks. So, I mean, Orlando Brown's pretty legit in my opinion. But then you guys help him out. You guys get Creed Humphrey. I don't think he's going to be a starter, but my goodness, I mean, he's coming on over from Oklahoma as a Sooner. Good job there. Joshua Kando, I don't butcher his name there, but tight end out of Florida State. You guys are getting Noah Gray, as you mentioned earlier, from Duke, tight end out of Duke. Cornell Powell, wide receiver out of Clemson. Trey Smith, offensive guard out of Tennessee, and that's actually it. So go ahead, man. Break down the draft for us and let us know what you think. And if you can, give us a grade.
Yeah, I think overall, I think they really did a good job of filling in some spots in which I think they just, either needed the starter or maybe they got the starter future either later in the year or next year, or complement a starter currently. So yeah, they did a really good job. I think they got some good steals. The last guy you mentioned, the Trey Smith, the offensive guard, he was in the 6th round. I think he was supposed to be like a 3rd round projection, but I think due to an injury, all the way down to the 6th round. So I think it's really good value, even that deep into the draft, to get someone like that. So I think overall, I think it's somewhere along like a A-, B+. I would give that grade because, really when you're a team like the Chiefs, you always want to keep, filling in those holes that you need spots for. But really, it's not like there's a sense of urgency, like we got to win it now. We got to have a splash draft. And I think it was a safe draft to just get some guys that they know, like in a season or two, are going to be producing down the road. And I think that's what they got again. Just like last year's draft. I think last year's draft, you were going to start seeing guys like Willie Gay Jr. and Snead stepping up more. The plan wasn't necessarily them to be like, starting from day one, but this season and going to next season, yeah, those guys are going to make more of an impact now. And I think that's going to be kind of similar to some of the guys they drafted this past spring. They're going to be probably making more of an impact later in the year, if not in the next season.
Absolutely, man. You guys have quite the roster, and I just love what you bring to the table, man. This is a strong team that you guys have, and you're just adding more pieces to it. And I know some depart, it happens, things happen, but at the end of the day, my goodness, you keep adding great talent, and well, there you go. So let's go take a look at this depth chart here, Bob, because my gosh, man, I love what I see here, man. Look at this. We have courtesy of the ESPN.com. Patrick Mahomes, awesome. Okay, I know behind him is Chad Heaney, but who cares? You got Patrick Mahomes. Okay, I know I don't want to, don't want to get hurt or anything, but you got Patrick Mahomes. Okay, highest paid quarterback I think ever. And if I'm just exaggerating, then please correct me if I'm wrong. But the guy's got a freaking fat paycheck. The guy's doing the dang thing, and I'm loving it. Okay, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Okay, the young man won a national championship with LSU, and then gets drafted, and then wins a Super Bowl with Kansas City. How many players have done that, where they come off of a national championship team and then win a Super Bowl the very next year? Yeah, this young man can, of course, they wouldn't want him to retire, but just in case he ever decided, yeah, you know what, I don't like playing football no more. That's fine. He has a freaking national championship ring and a Super Bowl ring, so he's good. I'm just saying, but the guy is, he's got hardware, okay? He's good to go, and he's very young, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be around for many years, but great stuff. Tyreek Hill, the cheetah. Because he's a freaking cheetah. Because there's no other way to explain the speed from the cheetah. Okay, he's a cheetah, and that's all there is to it. Because he's a cheetah. Okay, so great stuff there, man. McCole Hardman, this guy was amazing at Georgia. I loved watching him play, and my goodness, he comes over to the Colts and he gets me. I'm sorry, to the Chiefs, and he makes me sick because he's just scored touchdowns on the Raiders, and it just makes me mad. But great job, Demarcus Robinson. I mean, what can you say? Okay, Travis Kelce, booyah. You can't, I mean, one of the best tight ends in football, if not the best. I think him and George Kittle, man, are seriously like neck and neck for like the best tight ends in the league. If I'm forgetting anybody, my apologies, but I just think, yeah, I mean, they're both very good to go. So, Michael Burton, fullback. Okay, now you get on into the offensive line. Orlando Brown, beast. Joe Thuney, beast. Austin Blythe, beast. Laurent Duvernay Tardif. The man is an MD. He's an MD. My fiance is behind me. Babe, this man is an MD. He is, Bobby, I have to do this. I have to. He is 6'5", 321 pounds, okay? BC monster. He's Canadian, right? Bobby?
Yes, yeah, he sure is. Yep.
Canadian.
The Canadian doctor.
He's a doctor in Canada. So what did he do last year? He said, "I'm gonna take a year."
Yeah, he took off to serve in a hospital, I think, in Montreal. So yeah.
He took off the year from football and said, "I'm gonna go treat patients from COVID in my country of Canada. I'll be back next year to play." He's an MD.
Yep.
And he's a starting offensive lineman. One of the big fat cows I always talk about, because I can't help it, Bobby. I'm a defensive lineman, so I call offensive linemen big fat cows. I'm sorry. But with that said, but yes, this man, is that not amazing? That's awesome, right? I mean, yeah, okay, cool. I hope she's amazed. But yeah, so, yeah, I mean, you can't say enough about this gentleman. That is amazing, okay? Then you got Mike Reimers. Dude, this offensive line is a freaking wall. Like, they might as well just call themselves Troy, okay? Because they got walls, okay? Like, seriously, man. Like, this is huge. Now you look at the defense. Alex Okafor. We know what Alex Okafor can do. I don't want to call him one of the best, but damn if he's not good. I remember when he got drafted. Okay, him and I are like, he's 2 years younger than me. So this guy he's a beast, and we've seen him play many good years in the NFL, and he's continuing with you guys. Chris Jones, Jaron Reed, and Frank Clark. Frank Clark is that guy that just, when you see him line up at end, you already know that there's like a 50, maybe even higher, like a 75% chance that he's probably going to either get a hurry, or I'm sorry, like a sack, and you already know that there's at least 50-50, if he's not getting double teamed by a fullback or something, that he's going to make the quarterback, he's going to hurry them. I mean, the guy, and I don't know, maybe my percentages are stupid or whatever, but I'm just saying, this guy is always in the backfield. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him downfield the other way. You know what I mean? Like, this guy is incredible. So, good stuff. Then you got Nick Bolton, Anthony Hitchens, Willie Gray. Okay, great stuff. The classic 43 attack defense. Then this secondary. L'Jarius Sneed, the Honey Badger, because the Honey Badger gives no Fs. Remember those videos, the Honey Badger? You know, but yeah.
Oh, so, of course.
Okay, we call it Juan Thornhill, and then Javarius Ward. And I don't know how you pronounce his name. I don't know if it's Juan or Juan, but regardless, man, the guy is this secondary is strong. They have it. I mean, it makes me mad that we're in the same division. Like, can you guys go away and not play in the same division as the Raiders? It just makes me mad. Like, there's so much talent on this team. It's annoying. But, dude, now that I've wasted all your time talking, I'm sorry, I guess raving about how good this roster really is. Take the floor, man. Tell us what you really think about this team right now moving forward, and what can you guys do this season?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny because you look at the offense, and the only weakness they got is they have an unknown at fullback because they had Anthony Sherman there for a long time, and he decided to retire. So when your weakness is your fullback, I mean, your offense has got to be, lit. So, yeah, and I think you mentioned it. Yeah, the offensive line. I mean, yeah, we got a wall. I'm just, I want to see how that the right side of the line holds up in particular. So, with, Long kind of coming out of retirement to play, and then, LDT coming back from his year off, I'm a little bit, I kind of want to wait and see how that right guard position plays out. And then, of course, you got Mike Remmers there, but, obviously you're replacing him with Mitchell Schwartz, who is just a stud. So, I want to see how that right side plays out, but I think it's going to be a much better improvement than what we saw last year. So, and then defensively, it's the front seven's pretty solid. Obviously, I mentioned about how they added Bolton, which right now I'm looking at CBS. I think he's slated to be the starter at linebacker along with Hitchens and Gay. I was just looking up Jaron Reed. I'm not too familiar with him, but it looks like he's had some seasons in which he's had 10-plus sacks. So that was a kind of a question mark for me with the defense is who outside of Clark and Jones is going to get pressure on the quarterback. So I hope that Jaron Reed can help out with that. So that'd be great to have someone to complement those two beasts on the front line. And then really, the secondary, they didn't really obviously they lost Breland, but Ward and Snead, I think they'd be great corners to have. The only kind of question you wish you'd have with Breland is, having that depth behind them. Rashard Fenton and Mike Hughes are kind of the backups I see currently to those two corners. Not the most, greatest depth, but hey, you're not going to have depth everywhere on your team. So, and then of course you got Matthew and Thornhill. Those are just, two great safeties to have. And of course you got Sorensen as well. So they really got three good safeties still. And it's going to be tough to, if the Chiefs with this team they got with the depth chart, doesn't at least get to the AFC Championship game, if not even the Super Bowl, it's going to be a disappointment. So the only really weakness I think they got, in my opinion, and you didn't even touch on it yet, was the special teams. They kind of have an unknown with the punter, which, Tommy Townsend had an up and down year, especially in the Super Bowl. Boy, he had some awful punts in the Super Bowl. And then Hardman's a guy, I like him as a wide receiver, but boy, he can fumble on the special teams side of the ball. So, I'd like to see him hold on to, be able to hold on to the ball better when he's doing this kickoff and punt returns in particular. So, but really, when your weaknesses are your special teams and your fullback, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, oh boo-hoo. If McCole Hardman fumbles the ball and then hopefully it doesn't go out of bounds. But let's say he fumbles every now and then and the defense has to get the ball, but just one more 3 and out on their record isn't going to hurt anything. I'm just saying. But of course I know there are a lot of good teams out there and I can't necessarily be crazy right now, but I'll tell you right now, you guys are beastie. I mean, seriously, man, I can't. I hate you guys. I hate the Chiefs. I can't stand you guys. But gosh dang it, man, I love football. And I pay credit where credit is due, like earlier with Tom Brady. Like how you said, the Chiefs are amazing, man. And seriously, if you guys hoist another Lombardi this year, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm really not. I'm going to be like, that's kind of the team they have. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the caliber of team they have. Because you guys are just good, Bobby. I mean, there's no doubt about it, man. That no one's going to sit here and contest that. And if they are, they're just being haters. Okay? Because you can't. The numbers don't lie. The athletes don't lie. These are amazing athletes, man. And Andy Reid. And then it just tops off with Andy Reid. I mean, this is one of the greatest coaches of this era. The guy is a genius. Offensive-minded coach. I mean, he's just the guy who makes things happen. And you know what? I really enjoy watching him coach. And this is gonna be. I think it's gonna be a special year for you guys, man. If you guys don't get back to the Super Bowl, I mean, it'll be disappointing because of how strong this team really is. So, with that said, Bobby, you're a nice dude, man, and it's hard to get you to talk trash. It really is. You've been on numerous primetime face-offs. And you're really nice. I mean, you'll throw some crap out there, but you're not the meanest person. So let's just have some fun with this. Of course, stick it to them. Check it out, man. If you, want to stick it to them, of course, you definitely can. If not, you can be nice and respectful the way you usually are. Be mean and nasty however you want to. But there are 3 other teams in this division, of course, that, don't really care for your team, and your team doesn't care for them. With that said, man, talk about how you think the other three teams are going to do this season. And, hey, however you want to do it. Like I said, nice, respectful, mean, and nasty. However you want to do it, man. With that said, Bobby, stick it to him.
Well, I mean, I think obviously this is still the Chiefs division without any question. I think the only really contender, just based off like the team that has the quarterback, is the Chargers. I think obviously. But I think really the most stable team is actually your Raiders. I think there's a lot of unknowns still with the Chargers, with having a new head coach. And really, I mean, we haven't, what is the second year, Justin Herbert going to look like? Is he going to, you just never know sometimes with second-year starters. They can have a great first year, then maybe not do as great. And, and of course, the Broncos are just an afterthought, in my opinion. They don't have the quarterback. They obviously, it's a mess there with Elway trying to find another quarterback. He doesn't think Locke's going to be the guy, obviously. It's really going to be, I think, the Chargers maybe the next closest competitor to the Chiefs with maybe the Raiders, if they can maybe have a game like they had in Arrowhead last October. But, the Raiders, it's like they have a great game against the Chiefs, and then they, almost lose to the Jets. It's like they come up and play well for the good teams, and then they just play down to their level of talent for the bad teams. So
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the consistency with the Raiders. You know what you're going to get with them because they're just going to play like that all the time.
So I'm beating my head against my hand, by the way. But yes, you're absolutely correct. Yes, you couldn't have hit it harder on the Raiders level. I hate this team. I love my team, but I hate them. Go ahead, Bobby. I'm sorry. I don't want to go on a rant. Go ahead. That's coming up next in a couple of segments. Go ahead.
I think I was pretty much wrapping up there. But yeah, I mean,
okay.
I mean, if you want records, I think the Chiefs, I think they're going to be, probably a 14, maybe 13 win season. I think the Chargers could maybe be a 9-win team. Raiders could be maybe at best 500, but probably more 6-7 win team. And then Denver, I think, is going to be, if they get 4 wins, I think that'd be good for them.
Well, there you have it, brother. Well, with that said, once again, really respectful guy, great guy. I'm just glad to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Bobby Tazensky. Brother, let everybody know where they can find you on Twitter. Anything else you want to plug, man? Like I said, you're a great dude, man, so I'm really looking forward to having you back on the show for sure. Sometime this season, multiple times for sure. Maybe back for Super Bowl one. You know how it goes, man. But with that said, where can all these Chiefs fans find you?
Sure, yeah. Mainly you can find me on Twitter, so I do more of my sports kind of talk or trash, if you want to say it. Just at pretty much my name, it's going to be at Bob Tazensky, Touzinsky. That's why I do all my Chiefs talk, and also I do some Royals talk occasionally. And I'm really looking forward to the college football season coming back with that. Having all the fans back and everything, and a lot of stuff going on with realignment again now here in the middle of the country and down towards the southeast. So it's an interesting topic coming up.
Oh, it's going to be fun, man. So I'm looking forward to it. Thanks again, Bobby, for being here today. This has been an honor, as always, brother, and appreciate you. Once again, you're back on the nominees for the IE Sports Radio Hall of Fame, man. So hopefully it works again. Hopefully it works out for you this year, man. You get in, because I definitely would love to be in there. So with that said, man, thanks again. Have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful week, man, and God bless you and your family. Have a wonderful time, a wonderful, like I said, week again, and enjoy the season, man. Look forward to having you back soon. Take care, man, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, take care, brother.
All right, you too.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Bobby Tazensky. That is going to do it. We are looking, let's see, where are we at on this schedule here today? It's Sunday, and I am going to check out the head cut off right now, recording all the interviews, so I'm going to apologize. But we just finished up the Chiefs, and guess what? Literally next up, because the interview is going to come back-to-back with the actual show. So this is kind of like how the show would be if I was doing it live, like all the way live, not recorded for the interviews. We're talking Broncos football with our very own Gary Funk of Made in Colorado, right here on IE Sports Radio. With that said, we're halfway through the AFC West. Coming up next, Broncos country, right here on 3 and Out. 8 divisions in 8 days. AFC week, day number 3. AFC West. Right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
What's up, sports fans? Are you looking for the latest on Northern California sports? Then take a trip out west with me, your host, Gina G, on Reppin' the NorCal Sports, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'll be bringing it to you all the way live every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And it's always a packed show. I'll bring you everything Dynastic 49ers, the bite of the San Jose Sharks, torture of the San Francisco Giants, the Golden State Warriors that we still believe. Then take you across the bay to the rise and grind of the Oakland A's. I've got you covered on college ball from the Cal Bears to the Stanford Cardinal, so that no matter what, reppin' the NorCal Sports is always reppin' the Bay. So if you bleed red and gold, or you're looking to keep an eye out west in them thar hills, don't miss me, Gina G, on reppin' the NorCal Sports. Catch me every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and I'll have your fandom repped harder than a trio of defenders guarding Stephen Curry before his buzzer beater is Gucci.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, as I said, we're recording these interviews on Sunday, July 25th. It was kind of funny because we just finished the Chiefs, and we're going right to the Broncos. So that's going to be exactly what it's going to be like on the show when we're doing it on Wednesday. Of course, we're listening to the show live right now on Wednesday. So, yeah, gotta have fun with all this time stuff jumping around. But we just finished up with Bobby Tazinski, and now we're heading on over with, oh, by the way, Bobby Tazinski with Chiefs Talk in Chiefs Kingdom. But now we're leaving Chiefs Kingdom and going into Broncos country because, well, it's about that time to head to the Rockies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming here, diehard Broncos fan, and he is a proud member of the IE Sports Radio family, hosting Made in Colorado Saturdays at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Make sure to catch him, man. Tons of great stuff, and the guys is getting better and better. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome here for his first of hopefully many, many times on 3 and Out, which I'm sure he will be. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming Mr. Gary Funk. What's going on, Gary? How you doing today, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad, man. You're very welcome, and thank you for being here today, man. Just helping out a lot. So, with that said, let's jump right into the Broncos, man. You guys, the seasons have been crazy. I mean, it seems like yesterday you guys were beating the Panthers in the Super Bowl in 2016, and here we are, like, what is this, 5 years later, and yeah. But it is.
Tell me about it. At least, I can speak for all of Broncos country to say, at least we're not looking forward to another year or two of Vance Joseph or something like that. So,
well, I'll tell you what, man. You guys are solid. And I'm really looking forward. I wouldn't say too solid, but I think right now there are some pieces that are solid that you can definitely improve on. You guys aren't. There's a couple teams in the NFL right now where it's like, okay, wow, we have to lay a new foundation. You know what I mean? You guys at least have some foundational parts, in my opinion, to build off of. So, with that said, go ahead and talk all about last year, Gary. All of it, man. Every emotion from the start of the season to the finish.
From last season?
Yes.
Oh man, every season, and I said this on Saturday. Every season for me starts with a unique optimism. I got an optimistic spirit when it comes to my sports because that's why I watch them, is for the enjoyment. So last season specifically, going into it, I had to, following Von Miller particularly, he was poised to make a breakout season. And then we all know he didn't even get to take a regular season snap, injured before the season even starts. So it's hard to not, and we knew we were losing him for the season. So that alone was so hard to not deflate the sails, as it were. But it did, a little bit. But then, not to mention, as it progresses, and Cortland Sutton, we got a star player out on offense, week 1. So it's like, oh, okay, so this is how this season's going to go, huh? And I think everyone knows, especially in Broncos country, the week we played the Saints, and they're rearranging schedules left and right for COVID protocols, and the Broncos get their whole quarterback room benched, and they don't want to move the schedule, even though the Saints specifically said, "Hey, we're cool with that, no problem." And the NFL's like, "No." And so, we had to play Kendall Hinton, who had never taken a snap as a receiver, what he plays as, just because he had played quarterback in college, for 2 games, I think it was. He's starting quarterback in the NFL all of a sudden. 2 days prep, I think it was. Come on. I couldn't believe they put that product on the field, that the NFL was cool with that. But anyway, I don't want to get too bad into that, because that's basically the epitome of the way that season went. It was just like, eesh, the whole way through, and kind of got worse.
Dude.
But, yeah, okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, so, by the end of it, it was almost a relief to have it over, really. That's the first Broncos season I think I can really feel like, all right, now I know we've got some development in where that is, So the main thing looking forward to the next year was we're breaking that losing streak to the Chiefs, That's 8 in a row we've dropped to the Chiefs. And as you know, losing to a division rival is hurtful enough, but losing, consecutively is, and especially in your own stadium. So that means 4 in a row in our own home to the Chiefs, Oof.
That hurts. That hurts.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember in the 2000s, we freaking lost like 6 years in a row to the freaking Chargers. Don't give me that. He's playing. But anyway, I know what you mean. I totally know what you mean, man. It's always a fun fact. Let's have a Raiders fun fact, because we're talking Raiders next with me. But, I love to take jabs at my own team because we seriously do suck. I think we're getting better. But, at least it's not like in 2010 where we went 6-10 and the only 6 games we won was the entire division. I think we're the only team in history to sweep the freaking division and not make the playoffs. Like, how ridiculously stupid is that? Like, how do you do that? How do you do that?
That seems statistically impossible, on paper. You couldn't try to do that. All right, we're only winning 6.
Yeah, we're going to win 6. And we're just going to beat the Chiefs twice, the Broncos twice, and the Chargers twice. We're going to lose to everybody else. Like, what? Like, how do you do that? Like, oh my...
And really, if any team were to do that, I would expect it to be like an anomaly team like the Browns or something, So that is a fun fact for the Raiders. I did not know that.
Well, there you go. Raider comedy, ladies and gentlemen, Raider comedy. But with that said, man, let's talk a little bit about free agency for those Broncos. So Teddy is coming to town. We got Teddy coming over from the Panthers to make his way on over to play for the Broncos. We got, let's see here, Kyle Fuller is now a Bronco. Gosh damn it. Why? Why did it come to our division and help you guys? You're supposed to be getting worse. We want to get better. But no, great player, man. Great player. AJ Boye will be heading over to the Panthers, however. You guys will have, let's see here, Juwan James heading over to the Ravens. Great stuff. Justin Simmons will stay. Kareem Jackson will stay. Bobby Massey will head on over to the Broncos. Nice pickup. Shamar Stephen, I don't butcher his name, but from the Vikings over to the Broncos. Cameron Fleming, also from the Giants, coming over. Hey, I see some big linemen on the way, coming over to the Broncos. Elijah Wilkinson. Broncos from the Broncos to the Bears, though. Departure. Ronald Darby. Hey, hello. You guys got a secondary, amazingly good corner there. Shelby from Washington, by the way. Shelby Harris staying in Broncos country. So once again, there's a lot of key departures, a lot of key pickups. I'm not going to go through all of them. Philip Lindsay I did not know that he went to the Texans earlier. I was talking to Chris Ketchum, recording one of the interviews for the Texas for AFC South Day on Monday. But my goodness, man. You guys, Philip Lindsay, that's a hard one. That guy gave me hope always because, he's a short guy. I'm only 5'9", so short guy running the ball, doing great things. But I'll tell you what, man, there's a lot of big departures and big pickups. But I want to know, from your perspective, what are your biggest pickups and what are your biggest departures of this offseason and why?
That's a good question. Well, I can respect the short comment. I'm 5'10", so and fun fact, Eddie Royal was another short one and small, just small stature, and he has a franchise record of beating the Raiders, getting 2 touchdown catches as a rookie, and beating you guys in the home opener.
Yeah, thank you.
His rookie season. So just had to remind you that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Thank you.
But see, I'm just showing you, hey, look, it could be worse right now, right?
You're right. You're so right.
So I think the biggest acquisition was, I believe the second one you mentioned, Kyle Fuller. That familiarity with Vic Fangio, with our head coach, defensive scheme and everything, is gonna he had his best year under Vic Fangio's defense, so. And in the addition of Ronald Darby on the other side, and then we drafted Pat Certain. I think you say his last name Certain. Because you want to say it Certain, the way it's spelled out, but I heard him say it once, and it sounded like he said certain, like certainly, But anyway, he's going to be big once he develops a little bit. And last year we had Michael Ojemudia, so that cornerback room, on the Broncos is just stacked. So I think, to me, the biggest acquisition would be Kyle Fuller. And Ronald Darby. I think you can pair that up as the biggest acquisition because it's cornerback position, So departures, I can't really say there's one that hurt super bad besides Philip Lindsay. I mean, that is the only one that just stung, and that's going to sting me for years, probably the rest of my life.
Because, I don't blame you, man.
I mean, he was such a lively player to watch ever since college, all the way through college. He has that. He's going to go till the whistle blows, no matter what. And you get so many players that you can see they're tired, and it shows. And I can never say I saw that from him, not once. And just that, he took Tai Chi so he could learn how to, his own balance and how to manipulate his body and awareness. And it showed. I mean, there was multiple plays where he would get, even if he got tackled, the way he got up was just so ninja. He was just like, yes. So that's going to hurt me, like I said, for years to come. I can't even think of another free agent that left. Besides Derek Wolfe a couple years back. Yeah. And that was a couple years back. So
No, I agree, man. It's true. Philip Lindsay was that guy, man. Like, you can hit him as hard as you possibly could, and he'd get up and act like, even if it did hurt him, he'd get up and act like nothing was wrong. Like, wow, you suck. Like, that's all you got. You know what I mean? Like, he was tough, man. So, yeah, I remember him running all over us.
And the other aspect that the Texans have is he's a man that, like Barry Sanders, he doesn't want to sit there and celebrate after making a touchdown. He'll do a mile-high salute or whatever and go on about his business, act like he's been there before.
Exactly. Exactly. He's at work, he's punching in from 8 to freaking 5, and he's going to do his time, and he's going to go home. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yep. I appreciate that in a football player for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, especially when it's tight and we finally score and it's almost a done deal or whatever, and you get excited. Yeah, a player can celebrate. That's fine. Yes. But that Barry Sanders attitude of I don't need to do that because I've been there before. That attitude, it tops all to me. So.
No, that's the truth, and it's very, very true. I love that. You're absolutely right, man. So let's take a look at this draft because Gary, gosh dang it, man, you had some pickups in this draft that just the Broncos are getting better. I mean. I think, don't get me wrong, I don't think you guys are going to be Super Bowl bound or anything this year, neither are my Raiders. But, honestly, man, and if you guys are, sweet, I mean, just saying. But I think the worst year of Bronco football, at least for a while, is over because that was last year. I mean, I feel like, seriously, you guys picked up some players who are going to help a lot. Like, I'm really excited for some of these players. And the first one, of course, we talked about it earlier. And how do you say it again? I thought it was Surtain, Patrick Surtain. That's what I thought. But
Sertan. Oh, that's right. It is more. I thought it was certain, but you're right. It is Sertan.
Yeah, Sertan.
I just knew it wasn't Sertain.
Yeah,
I drilled into my head it wasn't Sertain. You're right. It's Sertan.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain, the second corner out of Alabama. I mean, dude, Alabama just produces players. All right, so amazing athlete there. Definitely going to help out in that secondary. Javonte Williams, running back out of North Carolina. North Carolina's football team usually sucks, but he was actually pretty good. So, he's, so you guys brought over a good player there. Quinn Maynard's guard out of, this is what I love. This is, oh my goodness. I didn't even know he was from there. I'm a fan of his. I don't even care. He is from Wisconsin Whitewater. Gary, do you know where Wisconsin Whitewater is?
Yeah, but because of him, yes.
Yeah, but do you know what division they are?
Oh, no. I thought you meant like just how it was kind of backwoods.
Oh, no.
No.
Wisconsin Whitewater is Division 3. NCAA Division 3. I played in the Division 3. And I hate to say it. I mean, it's not, it's basically like 4 more years of high school. No one cares. It'd been nice to have gone D2, but stupid me didn't want to put in the effort to try and talk to the scouts when they were there. But regardless, I didn't want to leave my family. Well, that's my personal story. But I didn't want to leave the state. 22-year-old kid not trying to leave the state. Or, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kid, somewhere in that region, but in junior college. But I'll tell you what, man. This team has gotten... these teams are awesome. Wisconsin Whitewater, Wisconsin Oshkosh, Mount Union. We talk about all these big schools. Of course, the big one right now, Mary Hardin Baylor. North Central, I think, is one that just won it the last season. But regardless, the Stag Bowl, man. I love Division III football. And my boy Taryn Rodriguez and myself. If you want, ladies and gentlemen, good plug, I know. Sorry, Gary, I'm just stepping on your time. But, dude, if you guys want college football, all of it, Triple CAA, NJCAA, okay, junior college, Division III, Division II, Division I Single A, Division I AA, and the NAIA. 3-and-out College Edition will be returning in a couple of weeks. Actually, next Wednesday, talking August 4th with my buddy Taryn and I, talking all college football from pretty much all college football. So join us. 4 p.m. Pacific time, or 4:15 p.m. Pacific time, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. Catch us every Wednesday. Previews coming up first, and we got the season great stuff. But anyway, with that said, sorry about that, Gary. But yeah, man, awesome stuff there. Young man coming out of Wisconsin Whitewater. I can't wait to see him play because this goes to show you that guys from a lower division can make it. Ali Marpet, also out of Ollie Marpet out of Hobart. Yeah, he's the guard for Tom Brady with the Buccaneers. He got drafted a couple of years back. Guess what? He's got a ring, and he's to Division III. Just saying. So, anyway, Baron...
There you go.
Pretty sweet, right? So, yeah, he can play. I don't care. So, Baron Browning, linebacker out of Ohio State. Caden Stern, safety out of Texas. I'm just going to say, man, you guys had a solid draft. Good stuff here. I'm not going to go through everybody, but overall, man, what did you think about the draft this year? And can you give them an overall grade?
Yeah, this draft, I think we nailed it. I mean, Elway has been thrown under the rug left and right by the majority of Broncos country for his draft skills, and I disagree. I mean, yeah, every GM is going to have their issues, but he is top 5 in his tenure, and the fact that he stepped down or stepped up rather, because I guess he promoted himself, but also took away the GM role. But anyway, the fact that he stepped away from the GM role speaks volumes too, because he has signed someone that I believe in, George Payton, that knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for a long time. He's got his scouting team that is combined with our well-tenured one, and we just nailed this draft. You named a few players, but we got Justin Sternad coming from last year who couldn't play last year because of injuries. So, I mean, we got a young linebacking core. We got a young cornerbacking core, along with a couple free agents that are, tenured and experienced and good. And the line, the defensive line, our defense. That's the thing about this year. That draft, that's why I think we nailed it. I'd give it an A+ because it built the rest of this team with that depth. So ideally, of course, we hope no injuries, for any team. I mean, ideally. Other people are like, oh, we're playing the Patriots, so I hope Tom Brady gets hurt or something or whatever, back in the day. And I'm just always like, why? Don't you want your team to beat them when they're the best? So, But when you have that depth, we all know, as football fans, we all know you need that depth because you are going to have injuries, regardless. Even if it's just a week, even if it's just the rest of that game, whatever. So this draft nailed that because some of these guys could step in if they had to at key positions, but they don't have to because the way Elway is built over the years. So, I mean, Caden Stearns is a supreme example, and Trey Marshall, both, safeties. When we just signed Simmons to a long-term deal and got K-Jack back, we got Kareem Jackson back, and that safety duo, they might be, the best in the league this year when it's all said and done. We'll see.
I agree, man. You guys have a pretty good safety duo back there. I like it, and I really feel like right now you guys have a pretty solid defense. Offense, you need some work, but regardless, seriously, this defense. Okay, my bad. Well, look, man. I mean, I don't know. Teddy might be the guy. I want to see Drew do his thing, but until one of them proves themselves, I don't know. But regardless, you guys got Noah Fant. I'm just gonna say that. So let's go ahead and just get into the depth chart real quick. So, depth chart. Okay, courtesy of ESPN.com. Drew Lock declared the starter at the moment. Teddy Bridgewater hanging out right behind him. Melvin Gordon. Hey, it's Melvin Gordon. Okay, this is awesome. I think he's pretty solid. Of course, behind him, Javonte Williams. We've got Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. Okay, a wide receiving core. My favorite player on the entire offense, I don't care, Noah Fant. Him and T.J. Hawkinson with the Lions, they both came out of Iowa the same exact year, and they're freaking amazing. I mean, seriously, great athletes, just overall, just wonderful stuff, and they produce a lot. Andrew Beck at fullback. Then we have Garrett Bowles, one of my all-time favorite linemen in the NFL right now, Dalton Risner, because the guy's a freaking monster. Lloyd Cushenberry, good pickup in the last, if I'm not mistaken, he was last year, I think, the draft. But regardless, right. Yeah, good athlete. Graham Glasgow and Bobby Massey now. Good stuff. Okay, now, in the classic 34 guessing game defense here, because I always, never know where that fourth pressure is coming from. Draymond Jones. Okay, Mike Purcell and Shelby Harris. Shelby Harris, of course, my favorite of those three. But yeah, heck of an athlete. Okay, good athletes, good stuff there at defensive line. Then you have right now your four linebackers: Bradley Chubb, beast; Alexander Johnson, beast; Josie Joel, beast; and we can't forget, in my opinion, one of the best linebackers in the NFL and of this entire era, Von Miller. Okay, next up, secondary. Kyle Fuller, Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons, Ronald Darby. I really like that secondary. So, honestly, man, this team, I mean, like I said, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be going to no Super Bowls this season at least. But regardless, this is quite the foundation to build on, man. A couple more pieces. This can be very different conversation. So, talk to us, man. Gary, give it to us, man. Tell us what you think about this entire team right now as a whole, and what do you think you guys will be doing this season?
Well, I guess I kind of did touch on that already.
Right, you did.
So I'll circle back a little bit. Too, because part of my biggest critique on Elway as a GM was he never seemed to care about the offensive line. And back when we had Peyton Manning, I mean, both in free agency and the draft, I was sitting there always going, okay, let's get Peyton some protection, Mm-hmm. and seeing as he used to be a quarterback, I would think that would be a big priority for him too, because he could relate. He could have empathy, whatever. But he never seemed to care, and it was almost like he was like, Peyton can overcome it. So for a long time, I think he kept that attitude as a GM that you don't need an offensive line. It's not that important because your quarterback should be able to overcome it. Because I could, and Peyton did, or whatever. I don't know. So that now to get back to your main question, and now that was circling back on my biggest critique on him. And so, as I said, he's improved, and so now we do have a decent line. But again, he still hasn't quite addressed it as much as I'd like him to. With that Dalton Risner pick, I think that was a solid pick, especially at the time. Bowles, I mean, it took Bowles forever to develop, and it does with left tackles. But he, last year, was outstanding. I mean, the year before, everyone was just ready for a new left tackle already. I mean, everyone on Broncos country. And I'm not going to say myself included because I really pull for the guys in orange and blue no matter what, and tell the guys, you know, because I'm used to Patrick Bowlen run teams, so I trust the leadership. You know, that's my default. I can't say that for all the teams I'm a fan of either, because the Broncos have the most integrity of any professional sports team I've ever known. Mm-hmm. But to say this whole season, I mean, that main thing is that this is going to be our first full off season under Vic Fangio as a head coach. This is going to be Drew Lock. You know, like you said, let's place him as a starter, pencil him in as a starter. It'll be his first season in his, you know, semi-pro history, because even in college, he never had 2 years in a row with the same offensive coordinator. So this will be his first season with the same offensive coordinator for the second season, you know. So that's going to play a big role too. That people seem to forget. You know, did Elway kick butt right when he came out the first couple of years? No. Mm-hmm. Sure, he had awesome plays still. He had flashes, and you can't say Drew Lock has. So that's what I don't get about the people that just want to dump on him, especially the Broncos fans. But I think, you know, we see this year, that's going to be the judge. Like, people were judging him on last year, and it's like, do you realize all the variables at play last year? Mm-hmm. I don't think I'd hold any second or first year quarterback against them last year, or judge them good by it. Say, oh, they kicked butt the whole year. I would still take it tentatively with a grain of salt. You know? Absolutely. Man. So overall, this season, I mean, the thing we all forgot about, including Broncos country, is how much Vaughn is going to make a difference. This man is going to be talked about a lot. With how humble he's become, you know, as he's grown and matured, taking that year off with that injury, a lot of folks are going to have forgotten just how poised he was to have that best year he ever, you know, could have had. So it's too bad, all in all, I'll sum it up with, it's too bad we don't play the Chiefs week 1 before the entire league is officially reminded of Von Miller.
I love it. Well, with that said, great stuff, Gary, man. It has been awesome to have you on today's show, and we have one more segment to get to, man. This is always a lot of fun. You could be nice and polite, respectful or disrespectful, mean and nasty, however you want to. Taryn with the Chargers, he went in on everybody, talked crap right in front of me even about my Raiders. Then, of course, Bobby a little bit ago, he was so respectful. He was like, yeah, whatever. Like, Chiefs, we're the basically, you know, we're good. You know, we're pretty legit. I don't want to talk crap on nobody because, you know, we're where we want to be. So it is what it is. So it's up to you. Me, I don't know how I'm going to approach my 8 divisions in 8 days. I think I'm going to be respectful. But I'll tell you what. It's up to you, man. However you want to do it. You want to be crazy about it, however you want to do it, man. You got two other teams in this division that you can't stand, and you got, and you know, they can't stand you right back. Well, the teams that it can't stand your team, and you know, of course, you know, like I said, those 3 teams can't stand your team, and your team can't stand those 3 teams. So, with that said, man, tell us how you think those 3 teams are going to do this season, and tell us how you really feel about them. With that said, Gary, stick it to them.
So you're saying pick 3 teams and then how they're going to do this year?
No. The AFC West.
Okay, the other 3 in my division.
Yeah, the other 3. So talk all the crap you want, have fun, or however you want to do it, man.
Here we go. So you know, you and I off the record have discussed your Raiders, and personally, I think Derek Carr is a different flavor of Phillip Rivers type quarterback. I don't think he's ever going to get over the hill of super success, so to speak. So I don't really see you guys going anywhere unless some kind of Aaron Rodgers stuff happens with you.
I like it.
But you guys have a solid roster, and I mean, there's no disputing that. There is, you know, holes that need to be filled, but there's players on your team that I'd definitely take, you know, so over a couple of our starters, you know, so that's what I'm saying. You can't say you don't have a good roster. Every NFL team has a couple solid players, but I mean, the Raiders do have at least some depth everywhere too, you know, so true. I would say I wouldn't be surprised. See, and I'm going to have to get used to going 8-9 or something instead of 8-8. But I wouldn't be surprised if you guys were around 500. You know, I mean, seriously. As far as the Chiefs, you know, they have been. They've just been stellar. You can't deny it. I mean, it's like Patrick Mahomes is the curse of all young NFL fans, because if you're all young NFL fans that aren't Chiefs fans, because they all go, well, look, he did it. Well, I want my quarterback to do that coming out of the draft, you know? And I think that's a lot of like why people, younger fans of Broncos country, hate on Drew Lock, because they're like, well, look, Mahomes is already doing this. Why isn't Lock up there yet? You know, or whatever.
Right.
So I see them, you know, losing 3 games at the most again. You know, I really do. They've upgraded Eric Fisher. I think they lost, you know, one of their better offensive linemen, but I can't remember who they got. And when it happened, I was like, oh man, well, they should be, dang it. You know, I was all disappointed because he seemed solid when I looked him up, looked at his film and stuff. But so yeah, like Chiefs, I'm going to say, you know, 14-3 or whatever. But Broncos, or yeah, I don't go to us. Chargers. Oh man, I feel bad for the few Chargers fans that do exist. No, I'm just kidding. You see that stadium, you know, for when the Broncos play, and there are always more orange jerseys in there than I see the home team, and I feel so bad. I can't imagine playing that you know, division rival in that your stadium looking like that. It's hard to imagine. So their draft wasn't spectacular either. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But you know, that's just it. Some of the guys that you don't think are awesome in the draft are really cut out for the NFL more than they were in college anyway. You know, yeah. Or they just weren't getting the snaps in college, or, you know, there are all kinds of variables. But so I'm going to go with the Chargers having a bad record, though. I don't think this is going to be their year at all. Let's say, I gave the Chiefs such a good record, so I'm going to say they win 6-11. Let's give the Chargers 6-11.
That works. I mean, I like it. You got all 3 other teams, and I think, yeah, it's actually very realistic in my opinion. This division is crazy, whichever way it goes. Taryn's gonna be in the chat room talking crap right now.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But it is what it is, man. So it's all about, man. So yeah, thank you for being polite with my Raiders. But yeah, we're trying, and of course the Chiefs, they're gosh dang monsters. Same with you guys. I can say the same thing right back to you. The pieces are there. It's just, you know, you got to make it happen. So I like it, man. Pretty solid division all the way around. I really like what we got going on here. So with that said, dude, Gary, thank you so much for spending some time with us here today, man. Your show is awesome. By the way, let everybody know, let all these Broncos fans, Colorado fans in general, Colorado sports fans, let them know where to find you and your show, man.
Yeah, you can find me on at MaidenCO, at MaidenCO_IESR. That's and then at Gary Funk Broncos, GaryFunk, F as in Frank, Broncos, Gary Funk Broncos.
Awesome stuff, man. Well, we appreciate you so much, Gary, for being here today, man. And thank you so much for making the time, brother. So look forward to having you back on the show very, very, very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend and a wonderful week, man. And God bless you and your family. And I'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right. Thanks again.
Good night, bud. Take care, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for this segment. When we return, we're talking Las Vegas Raiders, or Vegas Raiders, however you want to put it, with me, your boy Larry B, coming up right after this. You're listening to 3 and Outs, 8 divisions in 8 days, day number 3 of AFC week, talking AFC West, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Harrison Glazer, and we're coming at you from the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. I cover the Jets, the Islanders, the Nets, and the Yankees.
This is Pierre Moss, and I cover the Mets, Knicks, Rangers, and the Giants.
Our show is live every Wednesday through Spreaker and a bunch of other ways to get our content. Again, we're the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. We talk about all those New York sports. It's a lot of fun. We get into all of it. Please tune in. Again, that's Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
And we look forward to having you guys right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, here we go. We just heard from Taryn Rodriguez, as well as Bobby Tuzinski and Gary Funk, about the Chargers, Chiefs, and Broncos. And here we are now, getting ready to talk a little bit of Raiders right here on my little section of this entire, my goodness, this entire series. And I'll tell you what, you guys, it's been entertaining listening to Taryn here in the chat room. He's had some funny comments in here. And the worst for last. Yeah, Taryn, well, looks like you should have been last on him, buddy. With that said, man, we definitely have a team here with the Raiders that I can tell you right now are absolutely 100% ridiculously horrible and good at the same exact time. I will be the first person to tell you guys that this team is probably the best, absolutely the best team in the NFL that is just unfortunately plagued by something. We have a solid roster. We have a good coach now. We have Mike Mayock. My goodness. And for some crazy reason, we're still not producing. So you are ridiculous if you think for 1 second that I am going to come on and give the Raiders gigantic praise, because that's not what's going to happen. However, I will not bash. I won't. Now, I'll bash the Chargers all day long because Taryn thinks he's funny in the chat room. But I'm not going to bash the Raiders because, you know what, I've bashed them enough. And this is 100% from the heart of a Raider fan, as well as a realist. I'll tell you right now, spoiler alert, I want to pick the Raiders to win the division. But we know that's not going to happen. Seriously, it's not. They've done nothing to prove it. In the last couple of years, we've done some good things, but we haven't done great things. Last year, beating the Chiefs in Week 5 that was awesome. That was absolutely awesome. I was so excited. I was on cloud 9. But then they came out and destroyed us in Vegas, like the end of Week 11, I think. And, well, put us back in our place because, once again, we're not this premier team. And no matter how you try to dice it up, the Raiders are not a Super Bowl caliber team, and we are not a team that is ready for that big stage just yet. I do feel that we're actually on our way, which is the first positive thing I'm going to say about this team today, because for anybody who knows me, I love to bash this team harder than anything because it's made me sick. Over the last couple of seasons, actually over the last 20 years, here I was, a diehard, hopeful fan, and I usually always tell this when I tell my Raiders story. But overall, it's like this. I watched this team from, when I was young, and I just feel like this team has had so much potential over the last couple of years to just fall apart the way they have. Now, I've seen the Raider teams of old, or at least not of old, but in the last decade. I mean, guys, this is no diss on anybody, but when we had guys like Alvis Whitted out there, okay, and Russell catching that crazy touchdown the back of the end zone over the Broncos in the snow. When our roster was just not that good, I suffered watching this team freaking lose to pretty much everybody all the time, every year. And I stuck by this team. And that's just what you do when you're a diehard. Well, this team has proven that they are as horrible as you thought they were. Because there was zero heart, you guys. There was zero heart. I seen guys quitting on the field. I seen lots and lots and lots of just stupidity, and I'm not afraid to say it. I was at a Raider game one time, heckling the heck out of them because it's literally ridiculous what I saw out there on the field. I mean, there were guys just giving up. It's like, what are you doing? I'm a semi-pro football player. Okay. You know how bad I would love to be on that field playing against those guys. I do not care if I'm 5'9". Put me out there. Watch what I do. Okay? I seriously don't care. Say what you will. Because that's how bad I want to play on that professional team. Okay? Especially for my team wearing that silver and black. And when you see guys out there who are blessed because for some reason coaches got their heads up their rear end and think that short guys can't play, okay? Well, guess what? It sucks when you're somebody like myself who has the speed, who has the strength, but I'm just short. It sucks when you see those big guys who actually have all of that just giving up because they're losing. Wah, wah, wah. And seriously, guys, I went in and I don't care. And I'll still be harsh, and I'm going to be harsh. That's all there is to it. It bothers me. It really bothers me that this football team hasn't gotten their crap together in a very long time. So now that I've gotten the ugly out of the way and why I've always been so harsh and mean with the Raiders, it's time to actually say some good things about them. Because I really do feel that this year the Raiders are going to look a little better. And I think we're going to progress and progress and progress and finally become a strong competitor. I really do. Is it going to happen this year? No. No, it's not. We are definitely not going to be a Super Bowl competitor this year. If we do, great. But I guess it's not definitely. But I will say that we are definitely going to be on the up and up in the years to come if we just keep going the way we're going. Because I like the things we're doing now, because in the last couple of seasons, decade or so, it has just really bothered me of what I've seen on the field. So let's take a look at the questions I've been asking everybody and jump on into free agency, shall we? So, in free agency this year, we didn't look that bad. Trent Brown going back to the Patriots. Damn it. That hurts. Our offensive line needed him, okay? Yannick Ngakoue will head on over from the Ravens to the Raiders. I will take that. Casey Hayward, solid tight, corner from the Chargers. He'll be heading over. I'll take that. Rodney Hudson, way to go. Ruin our offensive line. We need... The NFL needs a good center, guys. In the NFL, you have to have that general in the middle of the line. Rodney Hudson was every bit of that general, and now he's gone. I don't know what it was. It was cap issues or whatever it was, but it's frustrating that he's gone. Okay, Nick Martin heading over, which, solid. I'm not going to, I don't think he's no Rodney Hudson, but I like him, okay? Gabe Jackson will go to the Seahawks because, we don't need our offensive line, Lamarcus Joyner heading over to the Jets. Yeah, he was all right, but he's getting up there, and he's not necessarily the player he once was, is what it is. John Brown, sweet. We'll take him from the Bills. Good stuff there. Mariota will stay. Kenyon Drake. Okay. I like this pickup because the more running backs, the merrier. Because, in the NFL, you're going to need a whole bunch of them nowadays. Not too bad. I know that he's definitely not he's definitely not a top-notch running back, but he's not bad. So I like that, okay? Richie Incognito. Thank you God we have somebody on this offensive line who's actually really mean and nasty, it seems, okay? Solomon Thomas. I really like this because the guy is a solid athlete. Is he the best DN in the NFL? No, he's not. But the guy's going to give you effort. And I love what he's got going on over there. Maybe a king scenery is all he's needed from the Niners. And you know what? I'll take it. So I thought that was pretty solid, okay? So as you can see, I'm not sitting here going over all these picks saying, oh, man, this guy's going to help us get the Super Bowl, and this guy's going to... No, I'm being very real, okay? So, good job. Quentin Jefferson. Good stuff. I like it. Okay, I'll take Quentin Jefferson. Willie Snead. I'll take Willie Snead. Malik Collins. We can see a good trend here of some great players, okay? McKinley will head on over to the Browns. So be it. Okay. Carl Joseph. Heading back over to the Raiders. We'll take him. We got a Scud missile. We'll take him. Okay. So, once again, I'm just naming, a couple of these key pickups. As I've been asking everybody, key pickups and departures. I'm not going to go over everybody. But I will tell you that I like some of these big moves. Well, some of these moves, okay? My biggest one, the biggest loss, in my opinion, is Rodney Hudson. That's hard. We lost Trent Brown, Rodney Hudson, and Gabe Jackson. So much for a solid offensive line. I know we got a new rookie. I get it. But I seriously feel like we went backwards. But I honestly think that this is the last time we're going to go backwards for a while. It's my opinion, okay? So we're looking at this. Then we see guys like Solomon Thomas and Willie Snead coming in. Now I look at this and I say, something? This is good. No, we're picking up players who could actually help us out. We're not reaching out to the biggest, the strongest, the tallest, how the Raiders usually, went about it. No, we're picking up guys who can actually do something for us in the field. So, I love what we got going on. I really do. Despite dismantling our offensive line, which I just hope there's a method to the madness, I think we're okay, with everybody else. Also, Hayward coming on over and Ngakoue, big pickups, okay? So I think we had a few of them. Terrence is here in the chat room. If the Raiders were in LA or in Southern California, I would have rooted for them in a heartbeat. Remember, when I first got into football, the Rams were in St. Louis, and the Chargers were in San Diego. Oh, absolutely. Well, there you go, Terrence. Terrence says, Kenyon Drake was a great pickup. He's going to be a great running back, second-string running back for the Raiders. Yeah, I think so as well. Josh Jacobs and him should have some carries together. I really think that we're going to be solid there, okay? So good stuff. And he also says, heck, Drake could be an all-purpose back like Eckler, like Austin Eckler. We'll see. No, that's a tall order. Austin Eckler, you heard me earlier talking to Taryn. Austin Eckler is a freakish brand of person. I respect him so much because the guy is, I think, honestly, he's one of the very last, and we're going to see those guys pop in and out. Because in my opinion, just looking back, and I've never heard this, I think, on a podcast or somewhere one time, or maybe even in a football game, at the last, every down running back was Adrian Peterson. That can just take all the snaps the entire game and just, and yeah, I see that. But when it comes to multi-purpose and all that, I seriously feel like Eckler could be that guy that plays every snap and then does everything else too. The guy is a football player, and I love it. So what he's got going on over there at the Chargers is great stuff. But hey, I mean, if you see Kenyon Drake like that, that'd be great, Darren. I mean, I'd love to see that too, but I got to see it though. I want to see him do it. So courtesy of Pro Football Talk on NBCSports.com. Looking at our draft, Alex Leatherwood. Okay, there were some really good players on the board. Am I saying that we needed to pick up an offensive lineman? We certainly did. But had we not have ruined the offensive line that we already have, it would have been nice to go pick up another weapon for Carr because Lord knows, that offense needs help. Now, is it Carr? This is a question that I got on my buddy's podcast a couple weeks ago. Our IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer, by the way, Derek Kayapala. He asked me a great question. And it's funny how I changed up my answer. Kind of, but I had brought up, is it Carr or is it Derek? Is it Carr or is it Gruden? And he basically said, I said it was Carr. I mean, I said, Gruden is, he's the guy. He's the coach we loved before, and we're happy we have him back. At the same exact time, is he really that guy? Or, because if he really is this quarterback whisperer, or the quarterback guru that everybody thinks he is, then what's up with Carr? How come he hasn't gotten Carr in shape? Or gotten him where he needs to be? Or is it Carr that just, Gruden's doing everything he can, but Carr's just not athletically talented enough, I guess, or whatever it is, to be the quarterback that Gruden needs him to be? So then Derek stops me. At first he started going towards Derek Carr. And I was like, yeah, maybe he's not. I says, I don't know when his contract's up, but the make or break needs to happen soon because we need to move on, if anything. But then he brought up a good point of who has Gruden really coached. He had Gannon. Johnson, he stepped into Johnson and Gannon for the Raiders and the Buccaneers. And he retires, coached the Bucs for a couple of years, and that was it. Then he becomes his quarterback whisperer, and that's it. So who has he really coached that's become who has he made that's been like Tom Brady? You know what I mean? Like not Belichick, like how Belichick has done it. How has Gruden really done that? And he stopped me in my tracks, and I was like, wow, that's a great question. Because we don't really, I had to retract a little bit, because I'm thinking to myself, he's right. Who has Gruden really, what quarterback can seriously say that the product they put on the field is 100% Gruden? He made them a star. So, to me, it goes right back to the middle of I like them both, but we need something to happen. Now, only reason why I'm going to lean on his side, on Gruden's side, is because I love Derek Carr. He's a great guy. He's a man of God. But I'll tell you right now, he needs to step up. And I see his decision making. Sometimes he just makes decisions where I'm like, but I get it. The guy has so much pressure on him. The Raider Nation is not a nice group of fans. I know every group of fans, every fan base can be nasty, but the Raider Nation, man, they slam the quarterbacks and whoever else, including myself. I have some sympathy here and there, but when I see guys freaking quitting on the field, that's when I get mad. Regardless, though, you see guys like Carr who literally give it their all, and you know what? It's hard to not. It's really hard, okay, to not give him some love. Because I like what he's got going on. It's just, is he that guy or not? He's been there for freaking 7-8 years now. We need him to make something happen for us. We haven't even put one playoff appearance. And unfortunately, like Terrence says earlier, Carr broke his leg. And that's not his fault, and I can't think of any other times we've been in the playoffs. So really, it's like we gotta make this happen somehow, some way. So I think it's a combination of both. We need to make sure that Carr is our guy. And how do we do that? Gruden needs to do something with him. And if that's not the case, then we got to move on from one of them. I just don't know who yet. So, back to the offensive line. If we hadn't freaking dismantled our offensive line somehow, which I don't know the ins and outs and everything of why they departed the offensive line, but regardless, we wouldn't have had to have gotten Leatherwood. Now, Leatherwood's a good young man. Okay? He's a good young man. He is... Sarah... Okay, so Taryn comments here, I'll say this about Mariota. If it weren't for Mariota tackling Chris Harris after Mariota threw the interception against the Chargers, that's an easy pick 6 for a 31-year-old man who had a bad foot of that past season. Agreed. He also said, I remember Raider fans booed Carr in the last game in Oakland when the Raiders lost to the Jags after they led 14-0. Raider fans were already sore about that. Some people just can't let things go. And they were all boo-boo-lipped about moving to Vegas. And they were going to get it regardless. They were going to get booed that day anyway, they're Taryn. So that's just different, is what it is. But overall, look, I love this team, and not a damn soul on this planet can tell me I don't love my team because I'm slamming them all the time. In my opinion, I'm more of a fan than they are because don't believe that false hope crap. You need to get on your team. Not going to sit there and tell your kids, oh, it's fine, whatever you do. No, you're going to get on them. So I don't care. I'm going to say what I got to say about the Raiders, whether it's positive or negative, So I feel like right now we had a decent draft. I'm going to give it a B- because I want to give it a B, but I can't. And I want to give it a C, but I think we're a little bit better than the C here. Trevon Moehrig, safety out of TCU, solid safety. We need secondary. God knows we need secondary. We're just not potent. That's all there is to it. We're not. Secondary needs to get better. I haven't seen somebody back there since Trayvon Branch who's actually been legit, okay? Being real. Malcolm Kuntz, or however you say it's Kuntz, linebacker out of Buffalo. I like it. We, once again, need more depth, if anything. Okay, Divine Diblo, safety out of Virginia Tech. As you can see, we're looking for secondary. We're seriously holding open tryouts right now, I think, okay? I mean, we need to get to that point, okay? Like, for real. We need secondary because it's not all Derek Carr's fault. Has his decision-making been bad? Yes. But our gosh damn secondary is like trash. I mean, they piss me off. Watching this secondary sometimes is like watching Pee Wee football. What am I supposed to do? Like, are you serious? Like, there's been so many coverages I've seen blown. It's like, really? That was clearly cover 3. Do you not understand that deeper than the deepest is a real thing? Like, do you not get it? Because if you don't get it, we need to get somebody back there who does get it. I mean, seriously, our secondary for the last couple of years has literally given me many heart attacks. Okay? I mean, not literally, but my goodness. I mean, my blood has boiled, okay, on various occasions because of how trash the secondary is. So, finally, we're making something happen. Thank you, Mike Mayock. So, Tyree Gillespie, safety, out of Missouri. Do you guys see something? Because I do. Trevon Moehrig, safety, out of TCU. Divine Diblo, safety, out of Virginia Tech. Tyree Gillespie, safety, out of Missouri. How many safeties do you need in a freaking draft? Well, how about we just pick whoever we can and hope to God one of them actually does the job? See what I mean? Do you see what I'm talking about? Like, this is the frustration I'm talking about. And I love, this is what I'm saying. I know we're on the up and up because Mayock is actually, they're making decisions. Mayock and Gruden are making decisions. Like, yes, somebody, God, please get back there and just don't let anyone get past you. I mean, is that hard? Like, I get it. You're going to have fast receivers in the NFL, but these guys are fast too. Is it hard to just say, hey, no one runs past you? You know what I mean? Like, contest them? Is it that hard? Because for some reason, we get burnt. I mean, seriously. It's like, I mean, I don't know if you're ever, it's seriously, and I don't care if this is a dumb joke or whatever, but I'm so serious. Because the burnouts in the NHRA, when you burn out before the race, and there's all that smoke, and I know for sure it smells like a whole bunch of rubber, seriously, it smells like that on the field, okay, in the Raider games, when the defense is on the field, okay? Freaking burnt rubber, because we are burnt to a crisp, and it literally just irritates me. But with that said, and like I said, I'll come at me, Raider fans. What's up? I do not care. Okay, I will go at it with a Raider fan any given day because I love my team. You're not gonna tell me that I don't love my team. And on top of that, I'm gonna tell you straight up that whatever you think, I mean, yeah, we can have meet in the middle or whatever. I get it, but you can't tell me the secondary is not trash. Don't stick up for this team when they're putting trash in the field. I'm sorry. So, Nate Hobbs, corner out of Illinois, another corner. Another secondary player. And then Jimmy Morrissey, center out of Pittsburgh. Okay, cool, got some depth there. Okay, as you can see, what did we pick up? We picked up a whole bunch of secondary and 2 offensive linemen. They are addressing the 2 places where we are absolutely horrid. Okay, we suck at those positions. Thank you so much, Rudin and Mayock, and whoever the hell else was a part of that, to make those picks. To make those happen. I don't give a crap. I was so dang excited that we made that happen. We need it. We need it. I'm so frustrated with this damn defense. Don't throw it on Carr all the time. That's all there is to it. So we'll take a look at the secondary, okay? And like I said, I give it a B minus, because I wanted, if we had another skill player in there or something of a different position, that would have been cool to give it like a B plus, because I really think we got what we needed. I forgot who said it in the series. We got what we needed. We did. But it's a check mark basically, instead of going off of just a grade. So I like that. But with that said, Terrence is here in the chat room. I'm that way with the Chargers. Love them to death. But their bonehead plays make me mad as heck. And yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's like, what were you really thinking? Coaches, I understand it. They're in their position and we're not for a reason. I understand it. But still, sometimes it's not even the coaches. It's just the athletes refusing sometimes. They're just doing their own thing. And I know we can all do that. I've done that before. Have I been an idiot? Of course I've been an idiot. So, and I hope I'm not an idiot again, but I might be. So I'm just saying it happens when your ego gets too big and you want to do something. Sorry, let me repeat that. Your ego gets too big and you want to do something that you think is against your coaches, that you think is right at the moment, and then you try to be wrong. It happens, okay? So, but I try my best not to do that, and I would hope that a lot of players out there do the best to do the same exact thing. So, depth chart right now: Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs. I like it. Mariota backing up Carr. We got Kenyon Drake now backing up Jacobs. We still have Jalen Richard back there. Awesome. And Theo Riddick. Sweet. Henry Ruggs, Hunter Renfrow. Sweet. Brian Edwards. I love this. Brian Edwards is a freaking beast. Young man out of South Carolina. I like that. Okay. Zay Jones. We know who that is. John Brown. Okay. Good stuff. Willie Snead. Yes. Darren Waller, one of the most underrated tight ends in the entire NFL. Foster Moreau. Yes, Alec Ingold, for some reason. Alec Ingold, okay. Marcel Reese. Jamiz Olawale. We've had some solid fullbacks in the last 2 decades. I love it. So, now the offensive line. Okay. Colton Miller. He's finally starting to become a good offensive lineman in the NFL. He needed a little bit of time to adapt, but okay. He's coming to his own. Richie Incognito. Thank you that we at least have one offensive lineman who's an absolute monster. Andre James. I'm not going to knock him. I don't know much about him. Young man out of UCLA, a few years out. I'm not going to knock him. Nick Martin out of Notre Dame. We need to start this guy sometime. He's a beast. Denzel Good. I'm not going to knock him, but I really don't know much about him. And then Alex Leatherwood. Young man, we just drafted out of Alabama. Let's hope that this offensive line can get together and, make something happen. As Richie Incognito put on his Twitter one time, we delivered the car safely or whatever. Get it, car courtesy of, and then they keep it some kind of funny name for the offensive line. That was pretty funny, but good stuff there. Regardless, I want to see more of that this year. Defense, 43, classic 43 defense. I love it. Clelin Ferrell. I apologize through and through to both everybody and Phil of the Info to Truth for saying that this was not really that great of a pickup a couple years back when we could have gotten him way later and we didn't. Because I'm really happy we got him. Max Crosby, another beast. Quentin Jefferson, monster. Jonathan Hankins, monster. And now we add Yannick Ngakoue. This is actually a solid defensive line. They're not the best in the NFL, but they're solid. I really like what we got going up front, in that front four. Corey Littleton, Nick Kwiatkowski, that is, and Nicholas Moreau. You know what? I'll take it. Moreau's pretty freaking fast. I'll take it. Solid athlete. Nick Kwiatkowski, I don't even, honestly, I'll be straight up with you, I don't even know. Let me take a quick look here and click on him, because I would like to know more as well. I really would. So, getting over to him real fast. Take a look here. West Virginia. Okay, well, let's hope he's legit. I know who Corey Littleton is, though. Okay, this guy's actually pretty solid. Okay, so linebackers, so-so. Pretty good. Then our secondary. Casey Hayward, Jonathan Abram, Trevor Moehring, and Trayvon Mullen. Moehring, I have faith in. Jonathan Abram is a scud missile. Trayvon Mullen, I like what I see on this guy. I really do. Now we see Vandy. Okay, this guy, Casey Hayward, out of Vandy. I don't know him very much, but I do know that I want to see him perform well. Now we have Carl Joseph back there. Don't forget Damon Arnett. We picked up a few years ago out of Ohio State. You know what? Overall, we have a little bit of depth. I want to see the secondary perform. Right now, this is not the most scariest defense in the NFL or in the AFC West, which is the reason why I'm not going to give them the division. I can't. That's the Chiefs. We all know that. But you'll see where I put the Raiders in my thoughts, okay? Or in my prediction of the AFC West this year. Taryn, I agree. Terrence is here in the chat room. Abram is a beast. He's kind of like the spark plug for the Raiders. Littleton was disappointing last year. And yeah, so it's just annoying that, sometimes we can't make things happen. So there is my weigh-in right there on the entire Raiders team. Now, I'm only give you a few more minutes left of Raider time. I gave you my thoughts and everything like that, and I was very sincere. Now it's time to be a little more positive. You know what? For the first time in a long time, you guys are going to hear me say good, positive things, and I'm happy about this. Seeing the fact that we took all those secondary players in the draft makes me happy because there's an issue and we're trying to address it. So good for you, front office. Thank you. We take a look at the linebackers. They're not that great, but damn it, they're not that bad either. They're really not. I'm not at all worried about them. They're not going to make things happen crazily. They're not going to, they might, who knows? No-name defenses happen all the time. I'm just saying from, at least know a little bit about them and everything, or some I don't even know about them, or at all, which maybe I should learn more about them. Overall, we're okay. The front four, I have so much confidence in this front four right now, and I love what we got going on. I feel like this team right now has lots of things to look forward to. The offense needs to get it together, and that's all there is to it. Josh Jacobs is too good to have sit there and rot. Okay? We have Ruggs. We have a solid offense. Offensive line, we've yet to see together. But I do know that we have enough skill players. Our secondary, they're doing their best to address that. Defensive line is solid. Linebackers are okay. Running backs are pretty good. Adding Kenyon Drake. We're going to be a middle-of-the-road team this year. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Because I see good things in the future. I'm okay with losing 8 games. Even 9. I don't want to. But you know what? To me, it seems like this. We may win 9 or 10. If we win more than 10, then, my goodness, the planets align. I'm just kidding. But seriously, guys, I like what we have. And you know what? That's better than what I've been able to say about the Raiders in a long time. So maybe you were expecting me to say we're going to the Super Bowl. But that's not happening. We could. That'd be awesome. But, anything can happen. But I'm not going to say that. But I'm going to give a good positive direction. And I do think this team is good enough to compete. I think we're good enough to compete for that playoff spot. The 1 week wild card or whatever the heck that is nowadays, what they're doing all that crap with. But I don't feel that we're going to be competing to take the West. We'll be in the running, for sure. But we're not going to, I don't think the Lombardi's coming for a while. At least a few years. Now, that can all change depending on what moves are made in the offseason. But right now, the Raiders, I honestly feel like this team is in a good area. And I could not be more proud of the front office for making the moves they've made. So the last thing is Carr, just do your thing, brother. Get it together. Do what you do, man. I love you. You're a man of God. You put up, I still remember, Joshua 1:9. To this day, that's still one of my favorite verses because you put that up after you broke your leg and you're going to do surgery. And I translated that into God makes no punks. But it's the truth. Because basically, have I not guided you? Have I not got, basically be brave because I have need you. And that's exactly what it is with God. So I think he's amazing. He's a great player, great athlete, great attitude. God is in his life. But what really it translates to is lots of great things there, but we just need him to make things happen on the field. And that's all there is to it. So, with that said, you guys, that is my spiel on the Raiders. I feel that we're going to be a pretty solid team. My stick it to them is going to be untraditional. Because instead of talking crap about everybody, I'm going to say positives about everybody. It's true. This is a good division. People can say what they want to say. Even my own colleagues, it doesn't matter. Overall, the Chargers have become much better. And it's nice to see the Chargers actually doing something because their past has been so terrible. They never had a Lombardi. It'd be nice to see them compete for one. The Broncos, they just had the Lombardi a few years ago with Peyton Manning. This team is young. They're rebuilding. Let them get back on it. I think we're going to have a pretty good fight here coming up with them. And I look forward to competing with them this year. And the Chiefs, golly. I don't think there's a more complete roster in the NFL, which is why I'm picking them to win the West. And maybe even much, much more. But there really isn't much of a... There's not much error on this team. And Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches of all time, in my opinion. The guy has proven, I don't care how many Lombardis he has or doesn't have, the guy is proven to be a great coach. He's a leader. These players follow him, and isn't that what a great coach is in the first place? So, my stick it to him is very simple. I'm sticking to the NFL. I'm sticking it to the entire NFL from the AFC West standpoint. I seriously think this division is done being that crappy division where there's like one good team every now and then, and that's about it. I seriously think that the AFC is going to stick it to them this year. The AFC West is going to stick it to them. I really hope we have a good, strong, competitive division. Somebody has to be in the basement, and somebody's also got to be first place. But I don't think the margin of victory or the margin between first and last is going to be terribly a lot, and I'd love to see that. So overall, you guys, I'm excited for what we got going on in this division, and I'm excited for what the Raiders got going on right now. So, do I see more Lombardi coming for the Raiders? You better believe it. I mean, I think all teams can do it, but I feel like right now, this team, within the next 10 years, we'll have maybe one or two if we keep going the way we are. And I gave us 10 years, okay? Yeah, I'll be in my 40s. But I seriously think within the next 10 years, we could have two more added if we just keep doing what we're doing. Come at me. Go ahead. Tell me I'm delusional. You're not the one in charge. You're not the ones making the moves. So I feel like right now, this organization, like any, can make things happen. But I just really see ours in motion. And I can see others. So Terrence says here, the Raiders were bad with their red zone scoring last year. So many wasted chances of scoring in the red zone, only to settle for a field goal. Sadly true. He also says, what the heck was with Gruden thinking not going for the TD against the Dolphins late in that game? $100 million for that? Yeah. And then Terrence says, with the AFC getting better and better, margin of error is super thin. One loss could be the difference in missing the playoffs. And that's what I'm talking about. I want optimism for the entire division. I'm sick of course, I'm going to bash the Chargers, Broncos, and Chiefs any chance I get because they're rivals, and I expect them to bash us right back. And to bash me right back, that's fine. But at the end of the day, and on a sincere note, you know what? I think as a whole, this is a pretty damn strong division, and I'm really proud to be a part of it, as a fan. So, with that said, you guys, we're going to take ourselves a quick break. And when we get back, I will give you my final weigh-in. Of course, you get to vote for your favorite Stick It To 'Em segment. And, of course, we go ahead and see who you think is going to win the AFC West this year. You're listening to 3 and Out, 8 Divisions in 8 Days. Day number 7 AFC week day number 3. Right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, hear me and hear me good. If you like sports, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like comedy, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like a different opinion coming from a different angle, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. So join me Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your host, Jelani J.B. Bodie. And of course, my man Lopan on the WaitAMinuteShow.com. Ain't that right, Lopan?
Hey guys, it's Blake Henley, better known as H-Town Blake to some of you. Happy to announce that Bases Loaded is back in full force. We'll be bringing that high heat every Tuesday night here on IE Sports Radio. So come home, get ready, dig into that batter's box, and see if you can chase that high heat, baby. So we'll be coming to you live with all the stats, all the rundowns, all the division rivalries, and every team that's going to make the playoff push to get to that one and only October and get to the pinnacle of what baseball is, to hoist that Commissioner's Trophy when it's all said and done.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Lava.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That gives you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Motorsports takes many forms, and there's one show on IE Sports Radio that's ready to cover it all.
I sure hope you're talking about you and I, Daryl, because I know the Extra Mile is the best place to go for everything motorsports related.
Yes, it is. From NASCAR to IndyCar to sports cars to everything in between, IE Sports Radio has everything covered for the fastest sport in the world.
Plus, don't forget all of our random shenanigans along the way.
That's right, Caitlin. So for plenty of motorsports coverage and plenty of Caitlinisms, check out The Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio with Daryl Kinsey Jr. and Caitlin Seen, Thursdays at 8 p.m.
Once
up, everybody? This is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
College football, and do you want to hear a college football show dedicated to all that is college football, including junior college and the CCCAA and the NJCAA, the NAIA, and the NCAA, including Division III, Division II, Division I AA in the FCS, and Division I A in the FBS? Well then, look no further. Join myself, Larry B., and my colleagues, Mr. H-Town Blake Henley, and Mr. Christian Espinoza, each week during the college football season for the latest in college football on 3 and Out College Edition, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Colin Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head prime-time face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it. You most definitely don't want to miss it, I'll tell you. We got a lot of great things coming up this season. Primetime face-offs. I know, for the millionth time I'm going to say it, but we're finally keeping record. It's going to be great, y'all. We have so much to get into this year, of course. Primetime face-offs for all primetime games on StreamYard, so you can catch that live. That is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great, but I don't have a lot of time to get into that, and I want to make sure we get into this right here. So at the end of the day, very simple, no depth charts, nothing. Very simple, you guys. We did that already on the regular show. Very simple. Final weigh-in for the AFC West. This is going to be really close, you guys. The Chiefs are without a doubt, we're going to start backwards. The Chiefs are without a doubt going to win this thing. I don't see any other team winning because they got the edge on everybody. They're strong. They got a heck of a roster, and they got a great coaching staff, an amazing head coach, and a great quarterback. I see them winning anywhere between 12. My goodness, they can win 12 games and up. And honestly, it's very realistic. If you want to contest me on that, awesome. But it's really hard to say they're not going to win that many games. Okay. With that said, I want to take a look at what you guys think here on the voting poll. So thank you to everybody who voted on the iSports Radio voting poll. The results are in. And look at 44% of you on each side. 25 votes total, so a lot of votes. 44% per Chargers and Chiefs for first place. 12% for the Raiders and 0% for the Broncos. Well, you guys are kind of crazy, in my opinion, because, I don't know, the Chargers are not better than the Chiefs. Neither are the Raiders or the Broncos. But you're very hopeful Charger fans, or just fans that don't want to see the Chiefs there no more. So that makes sense. As for the Chargers and the Raiders, because those are my third and fourths, the Broncos I'm putting in the basement, but not by much. I think the Broncos will win between 6 and 9 this year. Definitely on the lower end of that. I seriously think that the Broncos will probably get about 6-7 games around there. And the real toss-up is going to be the Raiders and Chargers. Now, you already know, as a fan, I'm not going to put those fools ahead of us. But overall, it really could be either one second, and then the other one third. It's going to be hard to see who's going to do what. Injuries are going to play a strong role, of course, health. But I'm going to say the Raiders and Chargers both can go between 7 and 10 wins. Now, what will it be? I'm not sure. So you better believe, as a Raider fan, I'm putting us second with like one game over the Chargers, because I do believe that we will probably go 1-1 this year. I'd love to sweep them, but they're solid. So, of course, I'm going to put my Raiders on top of them. But it could very easily be, and that's just a fan bias, but it is what it is. With that said, though, it could very easily be Chargers over Raiders for second or third. Now, forgive me, Bronco fans, but until the quarterback situation gets figured out, I'm not going to, put you way up there yet. But I do feel that the Broncos, even if they get if they get their quarterback situation solved, they're definitely going to be in the mix. And yeah, there you go. So Taryn says, so basically exactly what I said. Just he put the Chargers in front of the Raiders. I'm putting the Raiders in front of the Chargers, and that's all there is to it. Because honestly, they're very equal. And I would tell you right now, if the Raiders were going to be in the basement, I don't know if I've ever put them there. I think I put them like the bottom third, because it's hard to put them in the basement because they're just my team and I love them. But there's been years where it's like, yeah, we're pretty much going to be in the basement. This year, I really think that we're going to be between second and third with the Chargers. So it's going to be solid. So with that said, y'all, I think y'all know what time it is. It's time to cue the music, because we're out of here. Alrighty, you guys. I appreciate you so much for being here today. And that is my final weigh-in on the AFC West. This has been such a fun series. And this is going to be a really fun division to watch. So, last but not least, we did the Trash Talking Award. I'm glad to talk about trash. I put the poll up like 2 months ago. Who knows what it's going to be? Probably just a few votes. It is what it is. It's always fun to see what's up and see who voted for who, or see who voted where. So right now, Taryn will win it. 75% for him. Bobby with 25, and Taryn, I got 10. Just because I think I know the last time. But regardless, Taryn did a great job going over there. But he's summing up everything every team in the Good job to you, Taryn. Winning the Trash Talker Award for this episode. And definitely, everybody, I'm just going to say it, this is going to be a fun season for the AFC. If you are not a fan of this division, you might want to be a fan of it. If you want to be a fan of it, just be a part of it. It's really awesome. So like I said, I really feel like we're going to sweep the Chargers this year. I got you there. But I'll tell you right now, I do. I think we can sweep the Chargers on the and the Broncos. We might get swept by the Chiefs. But then again, we might go 1-1 with everybody. I don't know. We might get swept. Okay? The stupid Chargers might get swept. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to have that happen. I really think that we have a solid football team in the Raiders. And I really feel that right now the Chiefs are just top-notch. The Chargers are solid. The Broncos could be solid as soon as they have a quarterback. As soon as that home gets situated up. Big ups to Bridgewater. We'll see what happens, guys. We'll see how that home situation goes. With that said, my goodness, 7 days have flown by. Of course, it hasn't been straight. 7 days. 4 days last week. 3 days already now. We're getting all down to the nitty-gritty. Almost there. And big ups, Taryn. Great show, Larry B. As always, Nimbus Point, well, thanks for the same thing with you, man. Nimbus Point, appreciate you. A great show, as always. Great interview, great having you on here. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been awesome. And I am looking forward to a great show tomorrow. Definitely worn out from this whole entire process, interviews and everything like that. And goodness, it really messed up my weekend. But it has been a crazy weekend. Last 2 weeks. Crazy weekend, but it's all good. Tomorrow, we are finishing up with the AFC East. Talking Cowboys, Jets. I'm sorry, Cowboys. Why did I say Cowboys? Wow, I got the NFC East. Sorry. Talking Patriots, Jets, Bills, and Dolphins. Same time, same place tomorrow, y'all. I will see y'all there. Have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, take care. And as always, God bless.